And we're back here, another real news, Anarchy this time. Riots in Portland, and protests in Portland are going on still, especially after ICE came in and whipped out some violent, I keep about to say protesters, not even freaking protesters. ICE came in and brought some violent thugs that were in there destroying federal property. It's been going crazy in there because they were in unmarked vans. But it is also almost 100 days out from the 2020 presidential elections. In about 36 minutes, when it hits midnight, we will be 100 days out. So it's going to be an intense next 3 months as we go into the heat of election season. But these Portland protests are just going wild. So I am joined here, as always, with our fellow panelists and co-hosts, or whatever we're calling each other now. Dictator Phil is here as usual.
Hey, hey.
And he is...
Wrong name, dude.
Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. You
Yeah.
know, I think you need to, like...
Fluffy Phil, get it right.
You know, it's like, this is going to be like the new
Building
pronoun
a name
thing.
for myself, okay? I'm building a name for myself, and I don't appreciate it. I'm fucking with you. Well,
It's like the pronoun thing now. Like, if I don't say it, like, you know, it's like, shit. That's like
get
our
your
pronoun.
pronouns right, seriously.
Okay, Pluffy. So we have Pluffy here, Pluffy Phil, and then we have Donnie the Don here. How are you doing, Donnie?
Hello, guys.
All right, so you have a YouTube channel that's already blowing up, already surpassed ours after 2 videos. You're blowing up. So where can people find that, and what can they find on there? Like, what are you doing content-wise?
So it's Donnie the Don. It's the same as my Twitter handle. And my content basically is going to be really focused on the election, what's going on, and exposing liars on the left. And if they're on the right, they'll be exposed as well.
Good. Oh, man. Well, speaking of... Actually, here's a small thing I want to talk about now that you bring that up. Uncle Ted Cruz. We generally like the guy, I think, because he's a pretty strong conservative from Texas. But a video has been circulating around where he did an interview with, I believe, the Daily Wire. Oh no, it was his own podcast with, but he had Michael Knowles from Daily Wire and like somebody else on. And in the interview, he condemns the Proud Boys, and he condemns them by calling them, I believe the phrase he used was bigoted idiots. And I just... that disappointed me. It shows he knows nothing about the Proud Boys, and somebody's feeding him some shit about them that isn't true.
Well, I don't like the idea. First off, I don't like the idea about politicians having their own fucking podcasts. I mean, that to me, that's like, well, I mean, shit. Like,
everybody's got podcasts now.
Look, okay, but you're a politician. Like, your whole, like, don't you have like other responsibilities? You know, maybe one of those responsibilities is kind of taking care of your constituents. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little old school. Like, but it's crazy. But like, yeah, you was talking about the Proud Boys. They're not like a hate group at all. People say like, oh, they're a hate group, they're bigoted, all that stuff. Like, look, I don't think are any of them white. Like, I was looking at pictures, some of the Proud Boys pictures. I'm like, if any of them are white, I'm trying to fucking I'm Googling that shit right now just to even like see, like, yeah, maybe, okay, so there's like a couple, I guess. But like a lot of them are just like not white. I'm like how you get right away the eye test doesn't fucking pass, and then it's like, well, no, they're just they challenge, like they challenge you. That doesn't make them bigoted. Like, they're challenging your arguments. They're there to, like, you know, they usually they confront protesters, but it's more along the lines of like a
defense,
like a protectionist type thing. Like, and it's not like a massive. I just don't see where the bigoted part comes into play.
Maybe one I might sound really behind because I don't know what Proud Boys are.
Okay, yeah, that's
I
perfectly
don't have an
fair.
opinion.
And I think we need to also, yeah, I think that's. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think it's good to explain to anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah.
If anybody's watching, the Proud Boys start off as kind of a joke. Okay, they start off as a group created by Gavin McGinnis, co-founder of Vice Media, and conservative punk rocker type guy. Um, sort of a more not your. I hate using that phrase, not your typical conservative, but yeah, you see him. He dresses like a hipster. He's really funny. He's a really good guy, cool guy. Uh, Also married to a Native American woman, so his babies are mixed race. Just gonna throw that out there because it's important for what I'm about to say. And he's a very sort of live and let live guy, very moderate, very relaxed, but very traditional in many ways. And he created this group called the Proud Boys because he just wanted a men's club. He is a very strong sort of like I guess you could say I almost alpha male type. Like he loves sort of manly activities and doing manly things, and he figured let's create this club called the Proud Boys. And I forget how it really started. Like there's a lot more details I don't want to mess up, but it came about and like it was just guys like hanging out, drinking, and having fun and shooting the shit like we do right here, just shooting the shit, you know, and it then became as it grew and got bigger and bigger and there's like chapters all over the country. um, it then grew into something a little different when conservatives would go to campuses and speak or go to clubs like when Milo would go to places or Lauren Southern would go to places like to local Republican chapters, young Republican clubs, stuff like that. Antifa would come out and they would try to attack these people, and these events would either get shut down or the speakers wouldn't feel safe, and their lives would literally be in danger at some points. Like Lauren Southern had piss thrown at her. I mean, we all know what happened with Milo in Berkeley. And so it's people like that, and Gavin himself would go to these places, and Gavin was pepper sprayed by Antifa, I believe. Um, and so the Proud Boys, who are all these tough sort of alpha male types, these chads, these ex-vets, or ex-vets, that was the stupidest thing I've ever said, these veterans, sort of ex-military people, bikers kind of guys, you know, you're kind of getting a visual here, they would defend these speakers from Antifa because the cops weren't doing shit. They either were not there, they wouldn't do anything, or they would let Antifa do their violence. And so Gavin and the Proud Boys were basically a self-defense force. They never started fights. They only ended them, as Gavin would say. And they are a multi-racial, fraternal defense group. There are black people, gay people, white people, Hispanic people, Asians. There's everything in there. The only thing is that it's just men. Like, if you want to get them for that, they're just dudes, and that's because that's what they are.
The name is
Proud Boys.
It's not like
Proud Girls.
Proud People. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of no, but
that's basically the TLDR of it.
Yeah. And it's like anytime I've ever heard them speak or heard them interact with anybody, it was never really in a bigoted manner. Like
no, they're just Trump supporters. They're your average Trump supporters.
But it's like we're gonna head, and we're gonna see this in the next 100 days, because we're already talking about like with Twitter, blocking QAnon or whatever.
Oh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah. So I tried to do the segue.
Oh yes, definitely we do.
I got so excited over your segue. It was so good.
Yeah. But yeah, with that, like we're gonna see these next 100 days, we're gonna start seeing more of that. It's gonna be because if you saw the tweet, the tweet that Twitter safety, the worst. Oh, I hate Twitter's safety with a passion. Anyway, but if you saw the tweets, that the QAnon tweets, they left a very vague terminology on those tweets where they could open the door to say, "Oh, well, you're associated with QAnon. Here's the boot."
Mm-hmm.
And I think conservatives are going to get a majority of those boots.
Yep.
They're going to get loosely tied with, like QAnon, and then they're going to, yeah, they're, I think I could see it coming, and it's only going to get worse.
Yep. It's only going to get worse before it gets better with any of this stuff. And it's going to take a long ass time before it gets better. I'm going to pull up that tweet too, because what's wild about this, and I'm glad you posted this, Phil, because I really didn't see this until I actually checked after I saw your thing and then checked out Twitter. But what to me is what is really sort of different about this is that Twitter is literally banning a topic. They're telling people you basically can't talk about this topic. And we all know that Twitter treats conservative viewpoints differently and all that jazz, but they've never specifically put out a policy where they're like, you can't talk about X. And Twitter said, and I quote, "We've been clear that we will take strong enforcement action on behavior that has the potential to lead to offline harm." That is vague as shit. In line with this approach, this week we are taking further action on so-called QAnon activity across the service. We will permanently suspend accounts tweeting about these topics that we know are, this is a mouthful, engaged in violations of our multi-account policy. I think that's when you create an account after you delete one. Coordinating abuse around individual victims or are attempted to evade a previous suspension. Well, that's what I just said. Something we've seen more of in recent weeks. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And we knew that something like this was coming. Like, we knew it. Like, Stevie Wonder could see that shit coming.
Exactly. And it was a way for them to target Trump supporters and silence Trump supporters because I don't know any Q people that are liberals. Do y'all know any? I haven't
No.
seen any.
Nope.
And to be
Well,
clear,
the whole Q thing. Well, the whole Q thing is designed around this idea that there's a deep state against Trump, right? Is that's one of the main talking points for Q, right?
that is a very simplified foundation. The only
One of
reason
the, yeah, I'm
yes,
trying. Yeah, I know it gets more broad than that, but
yeah,
that's like, yeah,
it's
that's
a
one of
fair
them.
way to put it because that's kind
Yeah.
of where the idea comes from. Like Q is a very look. I'll tell you some funny stories about that because Q is it's this weird conspiracy thing that's just gone way further than I even thought it would. I'd heard about because it was like something on 4chan where these people would say they're QAnon, anon meaning anonymous, and that's a big thing on 4chan. Shoot, I swallowed.
Easy now.
I'm dying on the live stream.
Yeah, don't go dying on us, man. We need you for next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, it was a dramatic twist. Oh wait, you don't need me?
Hey,
No.
yeah, of course we do. Just,
Wink, wink. Q is the thing that I think you did put it actually pretty well. More I think about because it started off as this thing where it was like talking about like dropping like these big red pills on the deep state and like all these like secret elements, and frankly, I think it wasn't one particular person. It was multiple people just posing as it, and it was just sort of one big joke. But Milo, I think, put it best when he says horoscopes for Trump moms, because that's really what it is. It like predicts these weird things and these crazy things, and like half the time it's right, half the time it's wrong. 'Cause it's so vague, and it's just a weird thing that like for some reason boomers have really like latched on to. Because for my job, like I've called people that would literally go off on Q. They're like, "Have you seen the latest Q video?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I must have missed it. That's a shame. Can we talk about?" And then they just start going into it, like they just like obsess over it, and they just go on and on. Like it's like a rabbit hole of rabbit holes. But what's really funny, you'll love this one, Phil.
Hmm.
People, since this Twitter thing, people on Instagram were going on mega celebrity accounts like Tom Hanks, and you guys see us to believe it. I think they're still up. They were going in the comments on Tom Hanks's Instagram, and I'm not making this up. Like the top 50 comments would just be pizza emojis or say Pizzagate or pedo or something like that. It's unreal.
Damn. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
it's crazy. Like, I mean, but yeah, that I mean, the whole pedophilia thing is part of what, like, they're trying to.
Mm-hmm.
That's another part of the thing too. Like, mate, like you, if you're going down this conspiracy rabbit hole, maybe Twitter's protecting pedophiles or something. I don't know. Like you, because that's another thing that they were going down. Like some of these members of the deep state have like real pedophilia type pasts or whatever, and then you're trying to. So like there's a lot. Yeah, it's like because
There
like
is a
you're
kernel of truth to it. Like it's
yeah,
mostly bullshit and it's wacky. And I look,
yeah.
as someone who is like doesn't doubt conspiracies anymore after all the shit we've seen over the past few months, it is way out there. Like even Alex Jones like rolls his eyes at it, like and is like, okay, no, you know, and he has lots of interesting conspiracies, some of which I actually believe in, to be honest, but it's just like Alex Jones is right where you should be with conspiracies. You dabble in them, you have some fun with them. There are some that you actually have legit shit on. Q is just wacky. Look at Tom Hanks's Instagram. I posted it right here. This link right here to one of his posts. Just look at the comments.
Mhm.
It's just all pizzas, like pedo Pizzagate.
Oh,
It's,
and then when I did this show with Tierra Talks, she discussed too where people had to wear their shirts inside out because during the Trump rally in Tulsa, they didn't let them walk in with that Q stuff showing.
wow.
'Cause, yeah.
I don't blame him for that because Q is kind of bad optics. Yeah, I'm looking at this entire commentary. It's all spam with pizza emojis, referencing Pizzagate. And Tom Hanks had to like disable his comments too, not too long ago. Gosh, it's
Why did he
hilarious.
stop posting on Twitter?
What was that?
Why did Tom Hanks stop posting on Twitter?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he stopped was it May 22nd? When I made my post about May 22nd, I was trying to figure out what was going on that day.
Huh.
I know someone pointed out that Tom Hanks hasn't posted on his Twitter account since May 22nd. You know, I was hashtagging May 22nd, that
You're
whole
right.
ordeal. That out
I'm trying to
God,
see the
he got.
comments.
same day that Jack posted a pizza emoji on his Twitter account.
Oh
I
shit.
mean, he got the coronavirus, and I got all excited, and then it fucking survived. The one person that did survive that I didn't fucking want to. Jesus Christ! Like what? Like you get this coronavirus scare, and you're getting these Twitter bucks and all that stuff. These shut down the economy, and then so you're like all nervous or whatever, and then Tom Hanks gets it, and then it's like, oh wow, maybe
Well,
maybe we finally get one. Maybe they pluck off somebody that I really don't need in this world, and then he fucking survives, man. What the hell?
must be those Clinton connections and those
Yeah.
Pizzagate. Yeah, he must have gone into comment ping pong and then he was cured of coronavirus. Um, if you do look at his last tweet he ever did, he did. There's a whole bunch of like pizza emojis, people bringing up some of the pictures from Pizzagate. Now, and I want to say something about Pizzagate because it feels like Proud Boys, Pizzagate, all this shit is like classic, like 2015, 16. Pizzagate is one of those things that is. I mean, the Proud Boys are one of the most misrepresented things ever and smeared things ever. Pizzagate is complicated because there are parts of it that have genuine truth to it. One of the big ones was Jeffrey fucking Epstein. Yes, Pizzagate brought a lot of that to light when nobody else was talking about it. They were really onto that big time, and people were calling him crazy. I remember Paul Joseph Watson made a video on it. But there are other things that they talk about that are kind of off the wall and, like, you know, you can kind of do some guesswork on. But Pizzagate's complicated, and it sounds like Alex is back. Maybe not, but yeah. So like there's just some weird stuff with that, because it all came from those Podesta emails, which had some weird references in them and some weird images that people found.
Ridiculous. I don't know. Fuck.
I haven't. Oh, he's back. He is back.
The Alex
with his new mic.
Yeah.
What up, bro?
What's going on?
You need to check something funny out. You'll like this. In the chat, open up this Instagram post from Tom Hanks. Not the Twitter one, but the Instagram one.
All right. Let's go and check this one out.
Now read the comments on that Instagram post.
I hit on a king and a deuce, 21 Hanks, and then Sam Gunn. Oh, fuck. He keeps posting pizza.
Scroll down.
Pizza. What the fuck? What did he do? Like, is he a pedophile now?
Well,
what's going on here?
I don't know what. I think this was in reaction. I have to double check this and look into it. I think it was in reaction to when Twitter banned QAnon, like, talking about it. And people just started spamming Tom Hanks's Insta, like putting Pizzagate, pedo, pizzas, cheese pizzas, all this shit in his comments on all of his Instagram posts, to the point where he had to disable comments. And then they started doing it to his Twitter, I just noticed. But it's hilarious.
Well, that's ironic coming from Sam Gunn, because wasn't that the person who
James
was
Gunn?
Like, oh, that's the wrong person.
That's James Gunn.
I'm about to say that would have been funny if that person was putting pizza out there. Holy shit.
But it's unbelievable. Yeah. They just hijacked his like every post, dude.
Why are they associating him with that? Was he like involved with that in any way? Like either the QAnon stuff or something? Did he do something to piss him off?
I'm trying to find out actually.
Because like I don't know, like see the thing with QAnon, like say what you will, but I think it's just kind of bullshit. Like it's a bunch of like people on 4chan or 8chan or both or more 8kun or whatever, and they're just like fucking trolling.
Yeah, I'm for it. I agree for the most part, but I'm like at the same time in the back of my head, I'm like, well, you know what?
What if?
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So like, are some of these true? Yeah,
Epstein was true with Pizzagate, and Q probably dived into it, but that's what we were just talking about when you hopped on, Alex, was that these conspiracy theories, these things the media loves to smear, like they oversimplify it. And I'm one that loves simplifying, but they just like ridiculously like, oh, Pizzagate, oh, it's just a wacky conspiracy. No, Pizzagate talked about Epstein before anybody else cared about him, and they were right about him for the most part.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, here's the thing. They wouldn't ban something if it was fucking true. You know, like if it was false. You know, the only reason they're banning it is because it's true.
Well, here's the thing too, is like, this is what's weird for me, is like, why now? They're like, oh, we've seen like recent activity. Okay, why? I like, why now? So I see Q talked about on, like, Facebook. It's like a boomer meme, but I don't see it talked about on Twitter as much. I don't see Q shit on Twitter. I would see maybe Pizzagate shit there, but not Q. And it's just weird that they're doing this now. And I think it's really they're using it as an excuse to start banning people from talking about other topics in the future. I think that's what it's really about. They're trying to set a precedent, because nobody really believes Q except some like boomers that really aren't on social media that much. But I don't know, it's the whole thing's weird. And the only other explanation I could see is like maybe it was spamming a lot of people and people were complaining to Twitter, but I really don't see that. I
Q
just
wasn't even on Twitter. The actual Q was some dude on fucking like 8chan.
yeah,
What a
exactly.
trip code. And then people like he was like a fucking prophet, like the modern day fucking prophet, because people go to interpret his writings and shit. Like it was pretty like fucking cringy, but it was kind of like funny.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, that's why Milo called it horoscopes for Trump moms.
Yeah, like he was basically, like your fucking seer or something like that from, like the Middle Ages, where it's like, oh, we're gonna go interpret what this like dude who's high on mushrooms saying, and it's like the fucking Oracle of Delphi, basically, but with autistic memes about like conspiracy theories that some of them might be true.
I will say that I'm neutral on my opinion on Q, but I feel like they must be doing something right or speaking enough truth that Twitter feels like they have to ban their accounts.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I think this person probably said like no one will give a shit if it's just some like random accounts spewing random shit. Like look, the fucking Onion's still on there. They have a bunch of other like parody things on there. So obviously there's some truth into what he's saying, or else they wouldn't care about him.
And the other thing too is I'm looking up on this. This is an LA Times article, and if you believe the poll, just take it with a grain of salt. But it says a Pew Research poll released in March found that 76% of Americans had heard nothing at all about QAnon, 20% had heard a little bit about it, and 3% had heard a lot. And this is what I always do with polls. Let's just say this 3% I've heard a lot. Let's double it to 6. Let's even triple it to 12. That is so small. The people that have heard a lot about it.
Yeah, like honestly, I used to, I'd go on 4chan, 8chan and stuff. That's where I heard about it. But like the only mainstream news media article I've ever seen from it was like fucking Vice exposing it.
It would be Vice.
Yeah, like they just do stupid shit like that. And it's like, oh, here we go. Here's this like super evil, edgy, random conspiracy theories and like Pizzagate and stuff. Because were they like, was this linked to Pizzagate?
It was
Was this the person that dropped that? Because I don't even remember. Like, I thought those were two separate things.
I consider them in my brain two separate things, but they are linked, I believe, because Q started around like I don't even know if Q was a thing in 2016. I think it was later. I'm gonna check Wikipedia. But Q was more of a, like Phil kind of said earlier, more about sort of the deep state, but it was kind of linked to Pizzagate, where they like would cite it or reference it. It's almost like a Pizzagate offshoot, like a spin-off.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know. I just think that Pizzagate, they had that one event. Now everyone kind of blew it out of proportion after
the guy with the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, just went and started shooting into the basement of like Comet Ping Pong.
Yeah, and also. Breaking news from 5 hours ago, TikTok will block QAnon hashtags but not remove related videos. So see, this is what this is going to do. You're just going to make these people believe it more and more. Like, that's what happens. Like, I think QAnon's mostly bullshit, but people are going to now think it's truer than ever before.
Yeah, you block it and you kind of give it a little bit of credibility. Like, we're blocking them because they're they're not real. Like, well, how about you let me determine what's real and what's not?
Oh yeah, and because people then start thinking, if these people believe there's like a deep state and there's people trying to subvert things.
And their whole thing is like, oh, they're trying. It's secret. It's secret. And then so you block it, and you create this narrative that like you feed into that narrative like that they're talking about. Like, no, the only like when it comes to stuff like that, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Know, if it's bullshit, put it out there and let people determine if it's bullshit or not.
Yeah, they're just gonna dig their heels in what they believe. And Wikipedia literally just kind of said what I just said. They said on the history of QAnon, they said media outlets have described QAnon as an offshoot of the described Pizzagate conspiracy theory. So yeah, that's kind of how I've always thought of it. They're right for once, these media outlets, but Oh yeah, one thing I was gonna say was another Q story because I told you this one before, Alex, about the woman I called once that was like, oh, have you seen the latest Q video? I was like, no, I'm sorry, I missed that one. There's another story. This one's really funny. It's from one of our buddies that has a similar job as me. He was meeting up with somebody, a couple, in their like 30s or 40s, I think. And the dude's like this like Chad. He's like, this big muscular guy. That's how he described me, was as a Chad, like a proper Chad. And the girl's pretty kind of hot looking, but a little rough around the edges. And he was sitting there, and this woman starts talking about Q. She's like talking about QAnon, and then she whips out, I'm not making this shit up, 3 fucking binders with QAnon, like manifestos and data and graphs and research. She just has this on her. 3 binders full of QAnon shit.
Do you ever see that one meme with Charlie Day in it from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he's like going into that fucking conspiracy shit? That reminds me of this fucking person.
Oh yeah. It was just so funny. Just like whips out these binders, and, like puts them on the table of Q.
What did they? Was there any follow up to that? Like, did they do anything with that shit? Or
I would have to ask. This person was in a torrential like thunderstorm, and I was caught talking to them, so it was like I was hearing bits and pieces. But yeah, it was just wacky shit. I don't know why Q is like the thing people latched onto. Like Pizzagate makes sense because Pizzagate like had some shit in it that was legit, and it came off of those Podesta emails. But like Q is just such a weird thing.
Well, it's because it's related to 4chan and 8chan, like that culture. Like honestly, I think they're gonna try to do some sort of government action to shut down either 4chan or 8chan or both within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna happen unless Trump does something. But I think he's too afraid to even touch that with a 9-foot pole.
Well, especially if there's another shooting with like somebody that starts spouting that shit. That's what always happens. A shooting happens, boom, we gotta shut these things down. Or like somebody brings a gun to Comet Ping Pong, gotta shut this down.
Yeah, it's almost like they know that's what happens. Almost.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is with oh fuck, I was losing my train of thought there. The thing with Pizzagate though, is like, oh, they're talking about Alex Jones in this article and Michael Flynn. Like it's just Pizzagate to me is one of those things that I feel like they should kind of, I don't want to say resurface it, but somebody should do a more thorough like deep dive into this stuff.
Yeah, no, they should. Like, they keep trying to go and deep dive into it, but it's like made by fucking Vice.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't actually like they're clearly biased whenever they try to do it, and that's my biggest problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they always like just try to discredit it and be like, "Oh, these things are all wacky and crazy," and it's like, no, there's some truth in here.
I mean, it's the same fucking thing with the whole like coverage of Gamergate, man. The only people who try to describe it are people from the other side of the political spectrum, and it's sad. It's completely screwing it up. Like it's bad because it's gonna be written down in the history books at some points.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen.
Well, and I know Sargon was kind of saying this like a while ago, but I think it's, and some people asked him at the time when he said, well, I think we need another Gamergate. I know we've been kind of saying similar things, but like, I think we do, because it seems like, especially with Black Lives Matter taking over the streets, it feels like we've kind of lost the culture war right now. We won it in 2016, but it feels like we're losing again. You know what I mean?
It feels like it now. I guess. I mean, there's still 100 days left, and I like.
Well, I don't think we're losing the election.
I think some of the Well, I mean, look. I mean, the cult. Look, these these culture wars tend to escalate and de-escalate around election time anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like something like there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot that's going to happen within these next 100 days. So I don't know. Just keep doing the work. I'd say just keep doing the work, keep grinding it out, and uh, we'll see what happens.
Well, I think. Oh, actually, something culture I will say that we did win recently, and I think it's getting so understated, is because I guess it's another domino sort of falling. Nicholas Sandman, the infamous MAGA hats grin guy, the Covington kid, settled a $250 million lawsuit with the Washington Post. To me, this is a very important, pointed way we can win the culture war. Because, and I know we have disagreements on boycotts, but like tearing down the Washington Post and tearing down these big media establishments by just ending subscriptions and doing some boycotts really isn't enough, because these leftists still back them and still pay them for their shit. But if you go after these people for smearing you, for slandering you, for libel, for defamation, then you can do some serious damage. You know, you get more Nick Sandmans that fight back with lawyers. You could put these media outlets out of business if you drain them of enough cash. It might take a few lawsuits, but just, I think there's more to this than people are realizing. Like, if you really want to tear down the media, this is how you could do it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Well, I mean, it's like the media is always going to be around. I mean, obviously, but like, you know, you're going to have to find, like, speaking of media, right? Like, so, we were talking about it the other day with the sports media, right? And how, ESPN has just become far left, right? They've just gone left, right? And uh, one of the ways that's um, one of the ways that's being combated to fight ESPN is this one sports channel that I Outkick. It's become one of my favorite channels. Like it's incredible. They got like Jason Whitlock or Clay Travis, and like they're growing anyway. And they've already hosted Senator Hawley, um, a couple of other like Republican politicians. It's like a sports channel for conservatives, because it's like you're seeing a whole bunch of these, like you're talking about, like, ESPN going so far left, um that you need that at like to, there became a vessel space available for something like Outkick, and now Outkick's becoming growing in popularity, growing in success, and it's like, and this is again, and I feel like uh, that is kind of similar to like Blaze TV, and similar to you know
It feels like
these
that.
other outlet. Yeah, it feels like it, and it's like this is one of those ways that it's like it's sticking it to the sports. Like I I was seeing something to talk going back to ESPN. Um, I going on their Twitter page, they had a WNBA game where both teams went to the locker room to protest the national anthem. Like, while the national anthem was playing, they both went to the locker room
Oh
out of
God.
protest or something like that. And uh, and it was a WNBA game. So
No one's watching it anyways.
nobody's watching. Look, and I had to be honest. I was like, look, we have to be honest with ourselves. Look, out of all the sports that are getting hit with this COVID-19 mess, I think the WNBA is most prepared to handle something like this, because you have sports and you're not having fans in the stands, and they can handle it because, well, nobody's showing up to these fucking games anyway, right?
Them and the
They,
Pittsburgh Pirates.
like, yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates is another thing. Yeah, I was driving by Pittsburgh, and there was a sign there that had, oh, certain days until spring training or whatever. I'm like, well, shit. I mean, Pittsburgh is also prepared because nobody's going to fucking PNC Park either. So no, and I'm like, well, it's like but they're not. They don't give a shit. ESPN is going so far left. They're posting this ridiculous narrative, and like it's created this thing for somebody like out so a channel like Outkick, and they're doing extremely well. And yeah, I mean, I
Well,
got my VIP pass, and I'm like, oh shit.
speaking of that too, did you see that Dave Portnoy of Barstool's got to interview Trump?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, that's like, oh, I think that's wild. That's fantastic because that
Yeah.
shows that Trump, I don't know who's advising him or if he did this on his own or what the deal is, but he's starting to go more into alternative media. If there's one thing I wish he had done, continued in his early days of his presidency, was, yeah, do the New York Times, NBC, all them. I get it. You got to have your message out where people are reading it, where you have the most eyeballs. Fine. But give alternative media some love. Because he was, remember in 16,
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
was he did an interview with Alex Jones. Like, it was a pretty big deal, like when he was a candidate. And I think what would really cap this off for me is if he goes on Joe Rogan. Once Joe Rogan's on Spotify, if he goes on that's a game changer for alternative media. That's just a game changer. Because Joe Rogan's had the candidates on, but if he has a president on, I mean, alternative media is going to be taken a million times more seriously overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I am nervous. I'm a little nervous about Joe Rogan though, because I heard that like Michelle Obama will also be on Spotify too. So I'm very,
Huh, that's interesting.
yeah, she's I think she's gonna be doing a podcast on Spotify as well. So very,
Well, it's
very
like we were
nervous.
talking about once he got on there, we're like, you're going to see more of these sort of deals. Boom, already another big one, Michelle Obama.
Right.
Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens, like, his guests, though. He says, or he was saying, Alex Jones and Elon Musk will be, like, the first ones. We'll see if that pans out.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, is
Yeah.
a litmus test. Does he have the same quality guests, if not better?
Oh, I'm sure he's going to have better quality guests on there. Absolutely. Like, I don't see why he wouldn't, because now, unless there's some sort of contract in there where he can't have certain guests, which I don't think because when he did that, it was in his interest. He was the one calling the shots for that shit. I can't see them as decreasing his quality of guests. Now it would increase it if anything, so he doesn't have to worry about getting kicked out. Because if they do cancel him, he's walking out with like $100 million, and then he can go and sign a deal with another company.
I'm surprised he didn't start his own shit. Unless maybe that's what he thinks is next.
Why would he? When you get $100 million, dude, that's
Well,
a shit
yeah.
ton of money.
Exactly. But
You
how
can do it
wealthy
after
is
that.
he?
Well, $100 million wealthier now.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
I mean, you got to understand, Joe Rogan's been around for a long time in the entertainment industry
Yeah.
too. Like, you're talking Fear Factory, The Man Show, News Radio,
Oh, the WWE or the wrestling shit.
the commentary on the UFC. There's a lot of he's been in quite a few things, and and then so by the time he even got to this podcast level, it was like, he'd already had quite a bit. So
Oh.
Yeah,
he's probably got
my-
a lot of probably got a ton of fuck you money.
My thing is, why would he go and reinvent the wheel and like make his own shit if he doesn't have to.
Well, the one thing and this is kind of what Phil was kind of, I think, alluding to, is that, I mean, you're also alluding it too, is like, well, how much control is Spotify gonna have over him? Like, that's what I'm wondering, because like Phil said, they brought in Michelle Obama, and I don't think Spotify is conservative by any means. Spotify's probably fairly left wing, but we'll see if they stand for free speech. I mean, they banned Alex Jones. Let's not forget that. So I think that's the one thing I'm going to see with, because I think Joe's the type of guy that doesn't like being told what to do, generally. He doesn't
He's
like
got
that.
enough money where he doesn't have to be, because he could just go and, fuck off somewhere else.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. I wonder if this, again, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to follow this, but the Spotify thing, it could be great. They could let him do whatever he wants. And I think they should know that going into this. So that's how he operates. But there will probably become a point, especially if Spotify changes ownership or something, where they're going to start telling him, hey, you can't bring this guy in. Hey, you can't do this. This isn't advertiser friendly or some bullshit. And he's not going to like that. And he's going to have to pick up, leave, and start his own website, his own service, all that sort of shit. So I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Seeing some comments rolling on the video here. Sorry, we were a little bit behind that. Michael Crocker says, we're not losing the culture where the left's reactions are not those of someone who's winning. It's panic. Maybe. The only way they win is if we let them. That's true. They've lost all their marbles. Their masks have come off. Less engaged people can see that leftist ideologies are destructive and batshit crazy. They're being shown instead of told 1,000% more effective. That's Crocker again. Hi, Firecracker. How you doing? I've heard Joe Brindley says, I heard they won't be repeating names on the anniversary of 9/11 due to this COVID fraud. I wish Trump would read them live on a presidential address. I'm going to have to fact check that, see if that's even true. And I would love for Trump to do that. Firecracker says, Joe Rogan's following Elon Musk to Texas. Ooh, that's something we can talk about right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Elon Musk is building a gigafactory in Texas. I forget what's being built there. I'm gonna look it up though.
It's gonna be the super truck.
The Cybertruck.
Cybertruck, yeah.
Okay. Well, why are they making one factory just for the Cybertruck? Is our ship being built there?
Well, I mean, they're going to they're going to Texas. Especially with like the Cybertruck, obviously you think trucks, you think Texas, you think,
But I think he was just pissed off about.
and there's part of that too. Yeah,
absolutely
there's part of
that
too. Yeah, like everything is getting so fucking expensive, in California, and everything is a mess in California. You're looking at, look, and it's everything. Regulation ruins everything. Like, and I'm going back to a previous episode talking about the one of the examples I like to give to how disastrous California is the LA Stadium debacle, right? They went, yeah. So the Los Angeles Rams are trying to build a new stadium in Los Angeles. So originally it was supposed to cost somewhere around $3 billion to create, which of course, would be the most expensive stadium ever built. But they're constructing it, so they're doing all the construction, doing all the stuff. And because the construction costs are so high, it's gone past 5 billion. And they're saying that it might even go up to 10 billion, which is like, well, you're talking about 10 billion. That's like more than most owners of the NFL teams are even worth. So like California's got a whole lot of fucking problems, and it's like, yeah, and that goes to show you, look, liberal policies, they ruin people, they ruin cities, they ruin states.
Well, it's bad when like these sort of, I guess you could say, moderates are leaving, or people even they're like could be considered left wing in some ways. And and by the way, for the Tesla factory in right outside of Austin, which is exploding, that city's exploding. It's bigger in Chicago. They are going to be building the Model 3, Model Y, Cybertruck, and Tesla Semi at the Gigafactory in Texas. Big deal. I mean, this is just huge. Now help Texas big time. Love Tesla. And then Joe can confirm what the person in the comments said, that Joe Rogan is leaving LA for Texas. He says because there's more freedom there. Rogan cites overcrowding, traffic, homelessness among the reasons he's moving. There's a clip, and I remember Alex Jones said that Joe Rogan was telling him this after the Spotify deal. I mean, I think I cannot, and we've talked about this before, but like people keep downplaying it on the right, but the Cal exit, the Californian migration to Texas is huge.
I'm kind of concerned about that, actually.
Yeah, so am I.
In some ways, yes, I think it's concerning.
Me too.
Because can this make Texas blue?
Yep, that's what I was worried about. I wasn't excited about that. Okay, cool, bring jobs, but don't bring your policies. You're leaving for a reason. And people are purposely moving to Texas to turn it blue. But, like, he's going to bring a bunch of people who are confused, or they're going to vote for the same thing they've been voting for, which is going to mess up Texas.
Don't bring your liberal fucking weirdos with you.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to get any of the radical lefties coming here. I think they love San Francisco and California. As shitty as it is, they love it. But I think, like I said, you're going to get these sort of moderates. And only time will tell, but I think you're going to get people that are just tired of the left-wing crazy shit that come to Texas and could very well start voting Republican. Or maybe just not vote. I don't know. But these sort of people are more malleable. Like Joe Rogan, he's a little bit of a different case, but somebody like Elon Musk, like you see the shit he says on Twitter, he is like conservative, I think, in more ways than he even realizes.
He was from South Africa.
He was.
You know, he's like, no, like he's seen the effects of some of these policies. Like, you want to talk about affirmative action? Like, look at that whole fucking country. You know, want to talk about socialism? Like, it's all been done to the extreme over there. Like, it's one, like, you know, that whole country, it's kind of seen both extremes, like extreme right, extreme left, and now it's just like a fucking shithole. But, you know, back to what you were saying, I am concerned though, because look what happened to Colorado. Like, it used to be a very conservative state, and then just like out of the blue, you know, you get all these transplants from California who moved up there to go like snowboarding and shit, and now it's like fucking liberal shithole, just like everything else. Like, you try to get anywhere in like downtown Denver, that's, you know, that's like almost San Francisco prices right there.
Well, oh yeah, my cousins used to kind of live in the Denver area. I don't know where they fucking live now. Like they're rich and they move about everywhere, but dude, Colorado's a weird state because it's I'm trying to pull up the 2016 results because it is, I've always considered it pretty left wing. And obviously with a lot of their more recent actions they are, but I didn't, I'll try and figure out when it was conservative or last time it voted red, but it's, I've always considered them like a really weird red state. Yeah, I'm looking at the map here. Hillary got 1.3 million votes in Colorado. Trump got 1.2. Gary Johnson took 144,000.
Probably when they legalized marijuana.
Yeah.
Probably exactly what happened. Fucking weirdo. What's Aleppo? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, well, what about Joe Jurgensen?
Who?
Yeah. I think Alex put best. Who? Yeah, Joe Jurgensen, their new candidate. I think we ripped her last time.
Yeah, we've beaten that dead horse.
Yeah, but the libertarian dude, you know what I keep hearing from them? Because they all say the same shit. They're like, oh, there's these access rules, these ballot access rules. I forget what they fucking call it, are holding back the libertarians. We can't get enough signatures because it's, and we can't get on the ballot. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I kind of agree. Yes, I don't know why you have to get signatures or petitions to be on the ballot. Okay, fine, but you fuckers can't. If you can't get enough, like 4,000 petitions in this state, there's a bigger problem here.
It's just,
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's pretty fucking embarrassing. You can't even get 4,000 signatures to get onto a ballot, and
Dude,
you expect to win the presidency. Like, just go and like not vote. Just scribble in like, fucking Michael Jackson or something into the fucking ballot. Just throw it out because it doesn't fucking matter if you're gonna vote for libertarians. They're not gonna win. You know it. I know it. Democrats know it. We all fucking know it. Same
Democrats
thing
know
with
it, and they love libertarians because of it. They just love them because they hurt Republicans. And the joke is, like, look, my volunteers, like, they get like they can get like easily 100 signatures in a weekend, one day actually, one day, by being at a gun shop saying, "Hey, do you support the Second Amendment?" Boom, signature sign. And you could do that with some libertarians, like, "Hey, do you want to put somebody pro-gun on the ballot? You don't have to vote for them, but you just want another pro-gun candidate on the ballot." They'd be like, "Sure." You could get 100 signatures at one shop on one day. So on the weekend, you get 200. Let's say there are 5 gun shops in your area. 500 signatures, boom, one weekend at least. And you're
I
telling
have
me you
two
can't get
issues.
4,000 in the entire state?
what's up, Donnie?
Bullshit.
I have two issues with Joe. One issue I have with Joe is she was talking about basically having an open immigration policy,
Yep.
and I'm
Yeah.
totally against that.
Yep.
A couple reasons why is people say people will lose jobs that they really don't want, and that's not true. I couldn't get a job at T-Mobile or Verizon because I wasn't bilingual, and
Wow.
I live in Texas. Bilingual be required or bilingual preferred is huge here, which keeps
Mm-hmm.
people that are American citizens from keep getting jobs.
Mm-hmm.
My second issue with her was she supported the Black Lives Matter movement,
Yep.
and like, okay, if you're gonna support that, you know that supports the Democrats, or you didn't know, then you have no reason to be a leader if you don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't like the whole thing about Black Lives Matter in general because they're using black people to raise money
Well,
for their campaign.
well, keep in mind, people in the media are in a bad spot just because, like, and I think Kayla McEnany did
Katie
great.
McEnany. Yeah.
Yeah, she had probably the perfect response for Black Lives Matter, right? Like, in saying that she agrees with the sentiment that Black Lives Matter, of course, Black Lives Matter, but not in the organization itself, right? So that for if somebody said that, then that would be something you could get behind. But if it's like, you have to kind of the Black Lives Matter organization positioned it to where it's like, well, if you don't follow them, that like what? So what? Black lives don't matter? No, you say it like Kayla McEnany said it, and say, look, like, obviously the sentiment matters, but the organization itself are run by a bunch of fucking Marxists.
Well,
That's pretty
see,
much.
I feel this. I feel like that's absolutely true. Uh, I almost feel like it's like how people refer to like feminism. It's like, oh, if you don't support
Mm-hmm.
feminism, you obviously hate women. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Or yes, I support women should be treated equal to men. Yes,
Yeah.
but then when you see how feminists
No,
portray feminism, that's
you
not the
see.
fucking case.
Well, that's the whole game. They're using something people agree with, changing it, and forcing them to accept it because they know it's like, how can you disagree with it? It's feminism. Don't you like women? Don't you support women? Oh, you don't? Well, you're a sexist. It's total tactics, total manipulation. Like, and that's the thing that really frustrates me is when people think all this is just like grassroots. This is organic. No, none of this is. It is all engineered by some sophisticated, devious people behind the scenes. It's look, Black Lives Matter has this website, connections to Share Blue, and all these big dem donors. It's not like fucking grassroots. It simply isn't. There may be grassroots chapters, sure, but it is not a grassroots movement. It's totally engineered and promoted by the media and Democrats. And
Yeah,
Exactly.
fucking Black Lives Matter is
Exactly.
about as organic as a Whopper.
Yeah, and it's trash too because think about this. Like I've been speaking on this about how the corporations are dumping millions and millions of dollars
Yeah,
into it. If they really truly cared about social justice or black communities, why aren't you investing that money directly to those communities? Why is it going to Black Lives Matters, which isn't giving money to the black communities at all?
good
And if
point.
you look at the corporations who are involved, they have business relationships and interests with China. They need Donald Trump out of the way. So they're investing in an election. They're not investing into the black community. They're investing into an election. And it ticks me off. And then it really annoys me when people don't see that they're using a particular group of people to mooch off of.
You know what? You brought up a very good point, Donnie, when you brought up China, because the companies that are making this big deal about Black Lives Matter, they mostly have dealings in China, and China is, probably the most evil country out there that currently exists. Like, I think it surpasses what the Soviet Union used to be. Like, they have, and I've been like watching some YouTubers and stuff, and it's like just bizarre the shit that happens over there. They have
Yeah.
human trafficking is incredibly common in China, and they don't
And
have media over
slavery.
here. In
Yeah.
media over here, they find something like small and they make it like super fucking big. In
There's
China,
there's
like if you have something like that's actually a big deal, they'll like ban it. Like I saw one
Mm-hmm.
YouTuber like sent a message to another guy, and the message itself wouldn't load because they have these algorithms on their internet that prevent you from actually sending it. Like it's so bad, and none of these companies are talking about it. And it's like funny because I think it was like Activision Blizzard. They had some guy who like made a stand on Hong Kong and they silenced him. But now
Yep.
every time I go into Warzone, it says Black Lives Matter.
Oh,
They said they didn't allow the Hong Kong stuff because they didn't want to allow political messages. But you're telling me that Black Lives Matter in a fucking Call of Duty game isn't political? Like, someone needs to call these people out because it's frustrating and it's hypocrisy.
well, and the other thing too is let's keep in mind these companies simp to China while saying Black Lives Matter. Does China think Black Lives Matter?
I know they don't because they banned black people from McDonald's, and I think it
Yep,
was like
true.
Beijing or something like that.
So
well,
China
part of
basically
it.
has Jim Crow laws, and these companies love China. They give them money, but they also say Black Lives Matter. It's bullshit. It's bullshit to manipulate you and to make you feel like they care, and because they were afraid of the mob boycotting them and tarring and feathering them with all kinds of, hate mail.
A lot of it's money. A lot of it's
It's all
money.
money.
So yeah. So you got a lot of businesses that do business in China, and they have a lot of investment over there in China. Um, and they want to appease the CCP because, like, if you do business and you do it within the CCP, the corporate tax rate is significantly lower than if you don't. Like, because like the corporate tax rate um for businesses that don't work directly with the CCP is somewhere in the 60s. Like it's 60% corporate tax rate or something like that. It's insane, right? This is the so they almost use like they really financially extort people, like extort businesses to keep in line. And like I believe that's what we're seeing with the media too, because it's like you have a lot of these big companies that do a lot of multi-billion-dollar business in China, and if China just said, "Oh well, fuck it, now you're paying 60% corporate tax," like that would really significantly fuck over these companies. And well, what do
Well,
you do?
I want to
Play it ball.
actually, because I think somebody mentioned this here. I know my dad saw this, and I've heard this before. If you look on Black Lives Matter, their website, and look at their manifesto,
Mhm.
the shit in here is wild. People don't realize how crazy some of the stuff is in here. Okay, first thing I see here is they say, we are unapologetically black in our positioning. Can you imagine if the word black was replaced with the word white there? We are unapologetically white in our positioning. That sounds like some white supremacy, one might say. And then it says down here, We see ourselves as part of a global black family. We're aware of the different ways we're impacted or privileged as black people exist in different parts of the world. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with Black Lives Matter, except intersectionality. We are self-reflexive and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women, who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Oh
Right,
my!
now here's a question too, because I've listened to a few rap songs from like the '90s. They don't seem to be very trans friendly, like the black community.
No.
Like, what happened like between then and now? That's just like these people are making it out to be like that. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in thinking that. I think that back then the handlers for these celebrities and artists at the time had a different agenda, and then now they're pushing it more so and having these new rappers come out dressing, wearing skirts and dresses and wearing purses and everything now because that's what they're being told to do now in order to be popular.
Like, so,
And they don't write their own lyrics either. Someone else is writing the
yeah,
lyrics.
yeah.
Well, now, out of curiosity, like how well received is like transgenderism today within the black community? Because I have no fucking clue. Like, just from your experiences, like if you went over to your dad and said, "Hey, I'm a man," would he be happy with that?
I don't no, but no, it would be a discussion where they won't disown me or anything, but it will be a
You're
discussion.
definitely you're definitely going to see a few counselors on the way to the the
I
doctor's
think that
office. Is that
the community is tired of it. They feel like it's being on
yeah?
our pushed on
It
us.
is. I don't think it's real. Look, maybe I get kicked off of Twitter or something like that, but I'll just say it. Like I don't believe in it. I don't believe transphobia is a real thing. Like I just
No,
don't.
we're all scared of them.
Like, who's
Yeah,
actually afraid of some dude who's in a dress and dressing in drag? Like, the only thing I'm scared of is like when they bring this into the schools,
yeah.
and if I have a child, then they go and
No, I
say,
don't.
"Hey,
I believe there's.
we saw your son draw a picture of himself in a dress when it's really like a fucking football jersey. Now they want me to take my kindergartner to fucking like transgender
Well,
therapy."
no, but I'm saying it's not. Like I just don't believe. I don't believe it from the perspective that I just don't believe in. I really just don't believe in transgenderism. Period. Like I'm
Yes.
not. I just don't. I'm like, look, you're confused. If you believe that you are like born of the opposite, like you need to uh, medically alter your fucking body to change your your sex, like no, you need counseling. I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's like when you're a little kid and you think you're a fucking
Especially if
dog.
you're a fucking kid. Look,
Yeah.
if you're 18 and your body's developed and you all of a sudden you're like, hey, I want to flip, go for it, right? Hey, whatever, it's your life. But like kids, no fucking way. No fucking way.
Well, I don't even think we should be doing it with adults necessarily. I mean,
No, I mean I don't believe in that either, but I'm more along the liberty side of things. If you're at least of over the age of 18, and I don't agree with it, but I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But I don't agree with like, you know, kids. That's like, you get the fuck out of here. You like at
Hey
least wait.
guys,
What's up?
there's a breaking story right now that a
Oh,
protester was shot in Austin by someone driving through the crowd.
oh
If you see
no.
photos.
Here we go
oh
again.
shit! Here we go.
Yes.
I'm gonna shout out to NF Chow. That's who I saw it from first
All right.
on Twitter.
Well, yeah. Thanks, NF Chow, and uh, well, yeah, that'll be.
16
I mean,
arrested
I would
after
say,
protesters. Oh, this is hilarious. This is a CNN headline, kind of related to this. Um, 16 arrested after protesters throw explosives and rocks at police. These are
That's
protesters.
not a protester at that point. That's a fucking terrorist.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
fucking hate this shit. Also, I know we're gonna talk about this later, but I just want to mention real quick. Ted Yoho resigns from Board of Christian Organization following AOC incident. What a pussy. What a pussy.
Right.
Probably
Right.
forced to resign.
Oh, is it okay? This shit needs to stop. This forcing to resign, all this shit. This is AOC knows this, and look, I think you're right, Alex. But like, AOC knows this. She knows if she can be a bitch and push people over, they will move out of her way. And I don't blame her for it at all. You wanna know why? Because I respect it.
She's a fucking Karen. She's basically a fucking Karen.
Yeah.
At this.
We need to be Karens too. Like, look, the tactic is effective. Clearly, we just don't do it well enough. You know, if they start doing shit,
honestly,
raise
the
hell.
established look. Well, I'm gonna call it like I see it. Like I think the establishment Republicans are a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, they
And,
are.
yeah, they're a bunch of pushovers.
Maybe he
Yeah.
should actually be pushed over. You know, replace him
Yeah,
with somebody
yeah.
that has balls.
Some of these guys need pushed over, so their spineless asses can get the fuck out of the way for some real politicians or some real leaders to come in and take over. Because this is some bullshit.
Mhm.
Like, you're weak. We don't have time for weakness. Okay, how can we go up against weakness in the left when the right the establishment right is just as weak, if not more weak? Like, we need to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a problem with the right. Like conservatives, like they're very reactionary. They don't push back. They don't push unless they're pushed first. Which is some people might call it noble. I just say it. It's a losing battle. You're always gonna be the underdog unless you start pushing back. You need to start.
Yeah.
You start attacking these people.
I look at
it's not physically, but like just they're doing this shit to you. Call them out. They're mostly godless. They're mostly do a lot of degenerate activity. They promote disgusting things to children. They allow they call these people protesters who are clearly domestic terrorists. These people need to.
Yeah.
I call them out on a video I made on Twitter. I call them out too. I say I usually go for the left, but you know what? The right, what's up?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if you're being blackmailed. I don't care if you have some skeletons in your closet and you don't want us to know, and that's why you're being quiet. You came here, you were elected to protect our rights, and you guys are sitting on your hands.
You weren't.
I'm gonna call you out for it.
Yeah, you weren't elected for me to protect your fucking skeletons in the closet.
Mhm.
You were elected to serve your constituents. So how about you go ahead and fucking do that? How about that?
Do that, or we're voting you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if you're elected up there and you have, you've done some stupid shit or like some disgusting stuff, like do us all a favor and just fucking leave. Don't even fucking apply for the job if you've done something that fucked up where you have to have it held over your body.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna if you're gonna resign, what was that? Was that a Christian board?
Yeah,
or whatever?
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. No, a piece of shit like that doesn't even deserve to be on a Christian board, anything or whatever. Anyway.
Wait, so what happened? Like, was he involved with some like pedogate shit?
I don't know, but the thing that really happened with AOC was AOC claimed he called her a fucking bitch when she was somewhere doing something and he like accosted her. He claims it never happened. Frankly, look, when the right reads those headlines, they would probably be cheering for him. They'd be like, "Yeah, go get her." But if he's like walking it back, and look, if he didn't say it, be honest about it. But like, or if he did, be honest either way. But like, if he didn't do it and he's stepping down from all this shit, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I mean, you literally don't have to do anything. It's like the Me Too shit. Throw an accusation. Doesn't matter if you did it or not. You're done. You're gone. I mean, look. to bring it back to a personal level, like when we had the Sargon event, I didn't just go, guys, we're getting called racist. We need to end the event, guys. We can't do it. They want to cancel us.
We did get people from our own side that were kind of like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do this. Like, no, you get like.
I never thought of it for a second.
Well, no,
you know, and none of us did.
Thought of that.
Yeah,
none of us thought that shit for a second. But
and what
we
was
did
the result?
Get people on our own side that were like, "Oh, are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah, that's true.
And you know,
people above us,
right? Like, no, you know, if you want to be successful in life, you go do your thing. Fuck what anybody else tells you. All the little naysayers and all that shit. Do your thing. Even if sometimes you're just better off doing your thing, making your mistakes, learning from it, and keep fucking flying.
Yeah.
If like, instead of listening to somebody else, well, maybe we shouldn't do this because it isn't appropriate, or maybe it's not politically correct. No, fuck that shit. Just do your shit. Just do your damn thing.
Yep.
I absolutely agree.
Strong second.
No. Oh, by the way, Miss Firecracker said, take money out of the election process. Money breeds corruption. While you are 100% honest in that assessment, you could thank the shitty Supreme Court before Trump took office. They called lobbying a right to assembly, right? So yeah, you can go ahead and thank those fuckers.
To be fair, like, I don't think you'll ever truly be able to get money out of the election process.
No, you can't.
You won't.
You can't.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, look, they have to do TV ads. That's not free. Costs money.
But
now,
it's dirty how they just skirt around it, though. I will say, it, like, instead of, you know, because you're only supposed to give a candidate a certain amount of money. So what do they do?
$2,500.
Yeah, right, $2,500. So what they do is they skirt it by doing political action committees, and then they have like shill organizations on top of the political action committees, and then so that's how they skirt out of, you know, the $2,500 limit, which that is fucking dirty as shit. But
I think they should have a little bit of a higher limit than 2,500. I think they should raise it to like 10 grand or something, and then like maybe have more stringent requirements on the other shit.
Well, maybe like higher limits for like private citizens, like typical average Joes with less income, because I think again, this is kind of what happened with Trump and a little bit of Bernie too, is what I would like to see more of is sort of kind of like grassroots crowdfunding of candidates. And yeah, you're gonna have some of your big donors, like you're gonna need it, but people donating money to your campaign to, you know, keep it going, and you know, if you're rich too, putting your own money in, like that sort of financial independence is huge.
Isn't that what like PACs kind of facilitate though? Like you can have crowdfunded PACs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, kind of. It depends on the PAC. I mean, like one thing I just did the other night was I donated to Laura Loomer's campaign. It's the second campaign I've ever donated to. First was Trump. I bought her hat and shirt, which was a $50 bundle. I was originally only going to get the hat or the shirt because it was $25, and she was smart. She tiered it, where it's like, oh, but you can get them both for, I think because the shirt's like $35 and the hat's $25 or something. But if you get both, it's only $50 to get. I'm like, you know what? Why not? She could use the money. So I got the shirt and hat. But, you know, she's raised a lot of money. I mean, that's a campaign to really look at. I mentioned before because she has been able to raise a shit ton of money. She still is, you know, behind overall in her challengers, but she has a lot of cash on her hand here that she's using from donors she's met and from people. It's impressive. I mean, you haven't seen that in this race before, and she's I don't want to say a nobody, but like in the world of politics, she'd be looked at as a nobody because she has no political experience or really any big connections with people or worked in any like big campaigns and like worked her way up echelons. She's a reporter, Project Veritas, undercover reporter, you know, YouTuber, social media personality. Like, she's an outsider, and she's been able to work this hard and get this far. I mean, I know she's going to win her primaries. That's why I donated, because I was like, you know what? I know she's going to go on. I really want her to win her general, but, you know, like, because, look, money matters in politics, but it's not everything, and you still need it, but you don't need all of it, as Trump kind of proved. But that's for a lot of special cases, though, because campaigns are expensive as shit.
Because I wasn't really for sure about her, but the person who enlightened me on her was Miss Firecracker, and she told me about the things that she's done, and I'm like, dang, I like her. I'm gonna have to check her out. So like, I guess it's the same lady, right? Who challenged AOC.
I know she had a YouTube career. She did some interesting stuff beforehand.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. She, as she calls it, lumered AOC, where she, like, AOC was like, she does this a lot, where if somebody's out there, she confronts them. Like, at Hillary Clinton's book signing, she said, like, why did you delete 30,000 emails, like, right to her face at a book signing? You know, and then she did some to AOC, a bunch of people. Like, she's got bigger balls than most men, as Roger Stone said.
Right, we need more of her. We need way more of her.
Exactly. That's why big believer. Yeah, she's fantastic. I mean, she's got fire and passion. That's why I love to see her in Congress. Oh my God, you get headlines out of her every day.
Yeah, she'd be the counter to AOC. She would be like the anti-AOC.
Yep, that's what the New York Post called her. They're 100% right. She's a right-wing AOC.
But there's already a guy running against AOC. His name is Antoine Tucker. He is actually very, very, very upset with the RNC. He's not getting very much support from them or anything.
Well, why would they, frankly?
Well, yeah, he's in New York.
He would destroy AOC. Like, he would destroy her.
Not in that district.
Well, I do think. Well, I do have it. That does bring up a good question. What do you think? What do you think of Ilhan Omar's district?
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
You think that's up for grabs, or
yes?
Is that Muslim majority area?
No, it's not. I checked. It's not.
Because I think the person that she's going up against. Wait a minute, who's she going? First off, I don't think she even won her primary yet, and I'm not sure. Like,
I just think of all the squads.
I know the Republican that she's going up against is a really solid candidate. African American.
Come on.
Oh yeah, let her on.
I need to give her Chad. Oh, she she got a new account for some reason. Let me make her a Chad.
Liver Bisbit I don't know if we can say that.
Let me look at the chat. Is it in the chat something?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, careful what we say on here, folks. We don't want to get demonetized.
But the thing that I was saying though was that there was a candidate, Dahlia, I talked about her before, that was running for the Republican seat for to run against Ilhan Omar. I don't know why she didn't get the party backings. I thought she was fantastic for the most part. Had some rough edges to fix, but yeah, they have a different person that did win the Republican primary. I think that seat is flippable if the right candidate with the right money and the right backing is put there. Unfortunately, the RNC has not backed Loomer, which is pissing me off. Maybe when she wins the primary, they'll think differently. I hope they do, but the RNC is, they're very, I'm trying to think of a good way to word this. They look into things before they back something.
Yeah, she has that donor record. It's it's gonna be a hard one to do. But I think if Trump supports her, which he does, I think he might force their hand. I think that to be fair, though, you're right. Like, she didn't even win the primary yet.
Yeah.
Like, I think once she wins the primary,
that's when it's judgment time.
Yeah, then I'd say you can cast your judgment then. But like, until you pass the primary, what's the point of throwing money over there?
Yeah.
You're fighting yourself. Save the money up for fighting the Democrats.
Well,
if there's someone that you absolutely need to go and have beat someone else.
Yeah, and I think it also, to be honest, be a little bit unfair if the party backs certain people in the primary, because that can kind of rig it against outsiders in a way. But the thing with AOC's district, like, no Republican's ever going to win there. It is there are a lot of minorities there that vote Democrat. It's not going to ever go Republican anytime soon. And
Unless I would say like the walk away movement really were to go and like shift into high gear.
No,
So I think there's people out there who will vote for Democrat because that's what they've been told. It's been ingrained in them from a young age and from their parents and their parents' parents. Like it would be tough.
Yeah, but it's such a small vote. I mean, nobody even showed up to vote against her. They could have won. It's such a small amount of people showed up to vote for, for AOC.
Was that the primary or is that the general?
The primary. Yeah, they were like, if people had just gone out, if they had been mobilized, then they would have won. They would have beat her.
Well, that could have happened, but that's the thing. You need to get voter mobilization, voter turnout, and obviously, I guess I never did it.
I also wanted to say about Laura Loomer, she's a guerrilla. She's just total guerrilla warfare. And not only does she put all the leftist, radical Democrats in the spotlight, but she is anti-Silicon Valley media. So, I mean, she went out and she did a little shtick in front of Jack Dorsey's house. She handcuffed herself to Twitter. She is just a guerrilla. I mean, with the right money and with the right, power behind her, she's going to be a force to reckon with. She'd be another Nancy Pelosi in years down the road.
Yeah, I agree. She could turn out to be that way, but we'll have to go and see. It depends. I think it really depends. Once she wins a primary, like what sort of support the Republicans are going to give her.
yeah,
And I'm not too familiar with that district. Like, is that a flippable district?
it is flippable. Yep, it is. I'll look up the demographics of it and other things, but it isn't like, it's a very uncontested seat. But I remember, like, so a lot of polls were showing Loomer ahead against the challenger, and that's even before she even became, the nominee.
And the thing is, it's very Jewish, so she might have that, kind of spillover.
Is she Jewish?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God, that's her deal. She is anti-Muslim. Anyone in our entire government, the squad, is a pure Muslim Palestinian bloc. And that is really, that's like her one issue. That's how she came up to power. And she was kicked out of CPAC. So
Yeah.
that's very controversial. They're
I'm
afraid of
concerned
her.
about that in terms of getting like the mainstream Republican funding, that because I know that's where a lot of those bigwigs like to go and flout their stuff, is at CPAC.
Well, see,
That
I
kind of
don't.
concerns me.
I'll be honest. I don't really think she's gonna get the bigwig Republicans. The establishment, she's definitely not getting, because keep in mind, this is I mean, she could get Trump support, but I mean, if she's the only Republican on the ticket, like, there has to be some level of support, but I don't know where it's gonna come from, because they banned her they kicked her out of CPAC. It's just, it's a tricky one, but she does have people from Fox that support her, like Judge Janine, and Pete Hegseth in the morning, who's a very sort of mainstream Fox guy, have shown support for her. So it's like there's this weird sort of like split, with even some establishment-y kind of people, or like mainstream people, I should say.
Honestly, she should talk to Bannon. I wonder if he'd be able to go and buy, like, work on
Oh,
something.
she is just his flavor. I mean, she's like a Milo, she's like a white Jewish female Milo.
Oh yeah, Milo's
Like,
like best friends with her, and they actually did like a stream recently, or an interview. because Milo was visiting her during the Roger Stone thing. Roger Stone backs her and has supported her. Um,
The
it's
Alex Jones
Oh
supporter.
yeah, oh yeah. Alex Jones had her on multiple times. Like the people we love support her, but it's like the party is 50-50. And if she gets some, she's if you go on her website, she's got endorsed by Janine, Roger Stone, like a lot of big names, and it's just you can tell there's a split here, and she she's working her way through this, but it's gonna be what concerns me is I saw in her emails she was saying, and again, this is just for this primary, but she says she can't door knock. If she can't do doors in the general, she's not going to win. She needs to
Why
be hitting
can't
doors.
why can't she door knock or get people to door knock for her?
Well, I don't think it's that she can't get them. I think Florida's COVID things are screwing it. I really don't know because we've been door knocking here in PA, so I really don't know what that's about. Could just be a tactic, like saying that, but
Well, here's another thing too. Like, did she talk to? You mentioned she's unapologetically Jewish. She talked to like APAC or something. See if they get she can
Yeah.
endorse her
Oh
from
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. They endorse her.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't see. I mean, as much as I hate to go and say that, I think
I don't
that,
like I don't like APAC,
I mean, I
but
don't really care for APAC either, but
what you were saying about Dave Portnoy too, that Trump is going. What did you call it? Not mainstream, like
Alternative media.
alternative. Alternative. So she's alternative. I mean, if
Yep.
anybody's alternative, she's alternative. So that may be the trend. In fact, that may be almost the radicalization of the Republican Party to bring it back into what, take it away from the rhinos. Maybe that is the plan, the idea, the strategy.
Well, I
yeah,
mean, it is kind of the we were talking about like the you're gonna have to come up with other media outlets and basically uh, fan them out, like fan out the big mainstream media. I mean, you're never going to get rid of them completely, but you get rid of their fan bases and leave them to a point where they're not really as relevant as they used to be. That's like we were talking about Outkick. Like, they're taking away people from ESPN, taking away people from FSN. Well, actually, they're part of FSN, but you're taking away people from all these other avenues because there was a market for it. Like when you have sports as a whole is basically an escape for everybody, right? Most of the people that are into sports, they're into it to escape from all of the political bullshit, all the of the shit going on with their family lives, their work lives, all the stress. It's like, oh, I'm going to this game or I'm watching this game so I could kind of get away from it for a little bit. And now I got it. Now you're going to bring politics into this bullshit, and
Yeah.
it's like, that's the one thing that it's like, you know, so now when you've created this political uh, fear inside the sports world, now you created this opportunity to come up with, a sports thing that takes politics completely out, really out of it, or it gives the other side of things, right? So now that's why Outkick is getting the traffic that it is. And that's the same thing with the media, right? It's like, no, it's like with CNN, they're only tailoring to like a fringe left base now. It's not like they're the like they used to see themselves as like this objective news channel. Now that's complete bullshit. Now they're completely uh pandering to this fringe left like crowd, which is nowhere near the size of the crowds that they used to get. And so now that opens the door for other things, like, for the longest time, it's opened the door for Fox News. Like, Fox News has been like number one for fucking years. And then of course now it's opening the door for other companies like Newsmax, like One America Network, like other conservative networks that are that are also stepping up, like the Daily Wire, like other alternatives are stepping up. Blaze TV,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot. There's a lot, and
That's what I was going to mention. There's a
yeah,
lot. It's an avalanche. And
right,
you talk about Q and Golden State Times and
yeah.
Right Side
I
Broadcasting.
love the Epic Times too. But anyway,
Mm.
Yeah.
um,
I
Yes.
heard some interesting stuff about
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, that's interesting, but I could tell, like there's some stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't agree with, but there's no doubt they do the fucking work. I can completely respect they do the work, and I that's all. That's really as much as I can ask for. Just give me a fresh, hot perspective on whatever it is you're doing, and do the work. So I can appreciate it. I I I may, even if I don't agree with it, I can at least appreciate like the work that somebody puts into. Like that's why I love Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer puts in the work, right?
Oh, she works
It's like
so hard.
and that's why I appreciate it. Like I can appreciate the work. Do I agree with everything that Laura Loomer says? Not all the time, most of the time, but not all the time. But but again, she works extremely hard at her craft. So I, I most
And
certainly
campaigns
respect
are
it.
hard. I
Yeah,
mean, who wants to get into that? And then work in Washington? I mean, she's doing what most people don't want to do, and she's killing it. I mean, I looked up the 21st district in Florida, and look, I'll admit, she's going to have an interesting battle here, because polls are showing she's doing great. But when you look at it's all going to depend on turnout. As
again, don't trust the fucking polls. Don't
Yeah,
trust the
don't
fucking
trust
polls.
them. And I don't know what her internal polls are saying, but yeah, again, like it's just this is what the district is like. It is let's see, it's got a population of about 758,000 ethnicity almost, let's see, 58% white, 23% Hispanic, 16% black, 2% Asian. A Republican normally has held this district since 93 till 2013. Then a Democrat had from 2013 to 17, and then this other Democrat had from 2017 to now. Now, important note here is that this has been a gerrymandered redistrict area. It got redistricted in 13 to 17, and then 17 to present. The
That
one,
guy just took his pants off.
oh, on the
He's
stream.
doing some big ass drugs.
Well, it's Portland. The one number that is concerning is in 2016, Trump only got 40% of the vote in this district. Hillary Clinton got 60%.
Yeah, that is concerning.
That to me is the most concerning number for her.
I'm wondering too, what is with this other candidate? Is there any dirt on this guy or girl?
Louise Frankel. I don't know what there really is on her. I mean, Loomer's been putting out some ads recently, and they basically been going with the whole, Democrats want to defund the police, all shit. Like, her ads are actually pretty solid. Like, the concepts and visuals she uses could use a little polish, but they're pretty solid.
Well, no, like I'm just wondering if like this Luis or Lois or whatever the fuck,
Mm-hmm.
she has some sort of skeletons in her closet that could be used to, like a smear campaign.
She could. She voted to impeach Trump. That's one thing. But I know it's not what you're going along the lines of, but maybe she does.
Yeah, see if like who was that girl in California who was like caught having that like three-way with her like secretary or something?
Katie Hill.
Yeah, any shit like
Yeah, that would. I mean,
fucked up is that too? Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
What's her name? Hill or something? Hill?
Katie
Yeah,
Hill. Yeah.
that's not a hill that I would die on.
No. No, and then she ended up losing that district to like a Republican ended up taking back that seat. That was Garcia.
Yep.
Garcia's seat now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Doesn't she
yeah,
have, or with Garcia, doesn't he have to run again though in November or something?
I don't think so. I think that that election was for this and I'm assuming that's for the 2 years that normally comes with the seat.
I'd have to look that up. It depends if it was a Senate seat or a House. Because I think House was 4 years, Senate's like 2 years, maybe it was 6 years.
Yeah, the House seat's 2 years, I think.
Well, I thought Senate was 2 years. I thought House was 4.
I think it's the other way
I
around.
thought House is 6. Am I thinking of something else?
Might be that. One of them was long. Senate was 2 years, and House was significantly longer.
Let's see. House
Okay.
term. Members of the House of Representatives serve 2-year terms and are considered for re-election every even year. Senators, however, serve 6-year terms.
Oh, well, I had that opposite.
Yeah, I knew there was one of those two. Oh yeah, that 2 makes sense too because AOC just ran again. Oh, and there's actually Washington Times article talks about flipping that Florida district. It's a very interesting district. It's now Trump's home. I mean, she has a lot going for her. That's the thing. Like, there's a lot that looks good for her formula here of success, and then there is some concern though. So, I mean,
It could be no cakewalk.
Nope.
No, it's gonna require work,
No,
but like it really depends. Can Loomer and her campaign find people that didn't vote before, or find Trump supporters, bring them out, and hope that the Democrats stay home? That's the key. It's all turnout.
You're gonna get some carpetbaggers to come over in there.
Yeah.
Nah, don't do that. Well, I mean, if you're in New York, I don't care. Go for it. But we need Republicans in Republican places.
Yeah.
And that's some interesting stuff. Is Sam supposed to be on tonight?
I don't know what happened to Sam. I think he's just on his channel.
Oh, 'cause I know who was that? Who was his buddy?
Apex.
Yeah, he was talking earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was coming on or not.
It made it sound like he was, but then he didn't.
Well, let's see what else. Oh, you talk about the fuck. Somebody's talking on.
Charlemagne, do you talk about that? Charlemagne tells Joe Biden to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, base Charlemagne.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a. I don't know.
Did we talk about what Biden said? Like where he said Trump was the first racist president.
Yeah, that's a good one. I guess he came out and said Biden came out and said that Trump was like the first like like active racist ever or something like that. And then of course Charlemagne the God was like, no. And then they basically told him to shut the fuck up and hurry up and pick your black woman vice president so we could be excited about the campaign already.
Yo, did you see Kamala Harris's? Sorry, what was that?
He said shut the F up forever to Biden.
Yeah.
But what he still said bad things about Trump.
Yeah.
Which he's really annoying because he's a liar and he doesn't do his own research. I think he knows the truth and he's still a liar. And he knows he's a voice for the black community, even though most of us don't like him anyways. And I wish the right would realize that most of us don't like him anyways and would give him so much clout. Because most of us, not including people who are left leaning, don't like him.
Who's Charlemagne or Biden?
Charlemagne.
Both.
Yeah.
Not entirely wrong.
But I mean, it's like I think a lot of it, and we were talking about this, Donnie. A lot of the media itself is pretty much liberal run, and so what you have is a lot of the people in the public. They all want like who doesn't want to be a YouTube star? Who doesn't want to be a movie star on television or on or a music star, whatever. They all want to be in the entertainment industry, but you're going to have to toe a liberal line if you want to be in the entertainment industry, and most certainly if you want to stay in the entertainment industry.
True.
So you've got a lot of that. Um, and you need to like toe the line, or else you will get, you know, you'll get the mark of the beast. Like basically, you're not going to be in media again if you play by those rules, or if you even speak anything against, you know, the wild left. Um, I don't know. I just
Well, speaking of this, did you guys see Kamala Harris's facelift?
holy shit, she looked like a fucking ghoul.
Someone post a picture of
You,
that.
you know what? You know what she looked like? Have you ever watched the South Park with the Pokemon, where they went to like where they go to the Japanese training camp where they're training them to be, you know, to overthrow the United States government or something like
Oh
that.
my
Like,
god.
yeah, it was pretty wild. It was one of the earlier South Parks, but yeah, once they started going to the camps, then they started, you know, then the South Park characters started acting like anime characters. That's exactly what that's exactly what Kamala Harris started looking like. Started looking
What?
like she looks like an old school 80s anime character.
Oh God, fuck up.
What the fuck did they? No, like here's the thing though.
Oh, I have to go and tag this as NSFW. 'Cause it's probably ugly as shit.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Careful showing shot content on the stream.
Well, the thing I don't get about is like, look, I don't even know if she like official. Like, I'm trying to figure out like what the real story behind this is, because it's all really weird. Because you look at that video clip, she looks fucking different. She doesn't look like the same person. But why would she get a facelift? Because look, I'll be honest, she wasn't that bad looking before. You know, like with the track record of Democrats and looks, it's not good. It doesn't look good. But she didn't look too bad, especially for her age. And then I'm like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I get you're doing the VP thing, but you want the VP thing, and we know that's what they're gunning her for. But I look at her and I'm like, I don't know. After that facelift, I'm not sure about it.
She's a hoe. She is a common hoe.
Yeah, geez,
I
my
mean,
grandma got facelift once, and like, it just looks so fucking fake. You know, for like, I mean, she still looks fucking fake. Like, honestly, I don't see the purpose of it. It's so much like pain and energy and like all this other shit and money just to make yourself kind of like look like a fucking Barbie doll ish. You know, it's fucking sad.
Well, you know what
Why can't you
happened?
go and love yourself the way you are? Why you need to go and like spend money on this shit?
She
If you
tapped
want,
out on her Botox, so she needed to go to the next level.
if
Well,
you want, if you want a facelift, get your hair cornrowed. That will get your facelift, man. Let me tell you.
I'd love to go and see her with fucking cornrows. You know, I'm surprised she didn't do that. You know, just to go and like pronounce it right before it's the election. Because we all know she's gonna, you know, she's doing that because she knows she's gonna be the first female president if Biden's elected. Because you know what's gonna happen to him. You know,
Yeah, she's a great panderer. You know how
Oh
she
yeah.
got inducted as an Indian, then now she's a sister.
Mhm. She keeps trying to pass as every like brown group that's like trendy at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking at this new video. Yeah, there's something up. Like, look, I'm looking at a video, like another video. I think this is a different one than the first one where
it just looks weird. It just looks weird. I'm like,
well, yeah, I'm looking at the video and it's like they did something to her like cheeks, it looks like, and that's where it's, I don't know, there's something up with her.
That's a fucking facelift for you.
she wherever she went to get that work done, she needs to get her money back because that has some terrible shit.
Yeah. And she didn't need one. She legit did not need one. She was fine before. Assuming she did get one, but now I'm looking at her videos and it's like,
Turn that on. Oh, get rid of
that's
that.
a goal.
Oh my
Like,
god.
soulless.
Cool.
Like her and Biden, you
Like
know,
her soul got sucked out of her body or something like
see
that.
like she looks like a puppet, and you just see like George Soros with his like hand up her ass, just move.
Looks like she smoked too much pot. She's turning Japanese. You know what? Everybody wants to look like Melania with the eyes.
Well, his eyes are sharp.
Yeah,
She's the prettiest lady on earth. She's so pretty. God, Kamala Harris looks like, yeah, like her somebody stuffed something up her sphincter. Can you say that
no,
on YouTube?
no,
Yeah, you can say asshole on YouTube. We're not the terrestrial.
Yeah, we're not the
no,
radio
it's like,
anymore.
I don't know. I keep anytime I look at her, I keep thinking like this the curved squint or something like that. The eyes are just like I just keep thinking of the chip Pokemon, the '80s anime.
She's culture
You
appropriating.
must get the respect of Daniel-san. Like, oh, jeez.
Oh, also Ginsburg announced she's doing chemo again.
You know, how long is she gonna like fucking live for?
She was dead last year in November.
Yeah, she's yeah. Her and Joe Biden died like 6 years ago, and they're being held up by like
You watch me like 20 years
marionette
now, there's
sticks.
a fucking documentary or like a file on soon you found out that she's been dead for like 20 years and no one noticed.
Nah, that's a conspiracy that has some legitimacy. Way more than Q. Like literally, it's more likely that Ruth Bader Ginsburg has been dead the entire time than any of these other Q conspiracies.
God. Turn that off.
I don't know,
Turn that Kamala page off. That's fucking frightening.
What are some of these Q conspiracies? I'm actually interested.
Well, let's dive into some, shall we? Oh, one last thing too, I wanted to mention on the Black Lives Matter website because I had it up still. Is there's a part? Oh, this is the worst one. We disrupt, not dispute, disrupt. It actually says that the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Isn't that what the big problem with the black community is that fathers aren't in the household? But
yeah,
this evil Western prescribed nuclear family's gotta go.
yeah. See how well that works out for him. You know, it's been working great for generations and generations. You know, not like a queer affirming network. Like, Jesus, it sounds like something that a white person wrote.
Yeah.
It's like a sociology major or some shit like that.
We know somebody could qualify for that.
Yeah, it's like they wrote this like thinking of this as like the white ideal of what the liberal white guy ideal of what like a black person thinks.
It's
Not
like
what an actual black person thinks. Like this is like this white like liberal fantasy.
Yeah, sociology is poison. It's poison. It's not like and even then, it's like, it's not a real it's not a real fucking major. It's not like it. Sociology can be like a couple college courses. I wouldn't put in a fucking major. That's like terrible. Like,
Well, no, I don't even think it should be a fucking major at all. It's
No.
like the more I read into it, because I took a sociology course before, and it's like
yeah.
you can't prove it. You literally can't. It's like all these conjectures, and like the way you prove it doesn't actually prove
Yeah.
it. It's a waste of your fucking time.
No,
Like-
I feel like the sociology major was something to push people through college.
Yeah, I
It was
think
just like a real overly easy major to push as many like diverse people through colleges.
I think it was so that like student athletes, you know, like the meatheads and shit,
Yeah.
like they actually have something to go. Like they can say, "Oh, I attended this class. I got this degree."
I got this degree, knowing full well that fucking degree isn't gonna get you shit in the real world.
Yeah, it's like honestly, I feel like there's a bunch of similar classes. Like, because if you look at like college, probably like before the 50s and stuff, there was actually like, if you got a college degree, it meant something. You know, like even like liberal arts, like honestly, like when it was what it was originally founded for, it was like this sort of broad perspective of like, you know, you had to learn like I think Latin for it, you had to learn all these other languages, and it was actually pretty difficult. you know.
Hey,
And now it's like, oh, we have these classes, and you have to go and like fucking learn about how evil your parents
hey.
are.
Speaking of which, hey Sean, can you play that? Can you play that Cornell West video?
Depend how much of it.
Just a little bit of it. Like
Okay.
start it off from like I don't know from when I told you to, and then I'll just tell you when to stop. It's not gonna be.
I
It's
love
not gonna
him. I've met him several times in real life. He's
You're
such an amazing
Cornell
dude.
West. Oh, you're gonna hate these next couple of minutes.
Let
Anyway, go
me
ahead.
put it on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yep.
play it in a second here. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. It's not the whole clip isn't even that long. Yeah, it's
No.
I actually need to see because I heard he was like flipping out. Like in the thumbnail shows it, pretty beautifully. But he's with Leo
Well, no,
here,
I
so
think it. No, the one where he talks about America being a failed social experiment or something. Like, well, anyway, well,
oh, it's the way that's the one you sent me.
We have civil
Yeah,
rights attorney
that's-
Leo
that's-
Terrell,
that's the
along with
one.
the co-host of the
'cause I got some things to retool.
in the
for that
country.
one.
Every liberal big city, Chicago.
I looked at
run
that. I watched
decades
that video,
by
and
Democrats.
like somebody
They've
told me to see that video, and I'm like, no, I gotta say something. So
Yep, I'm gonna
Alright.
start playing it right now. I'll play
Alright,
about like a
cool.
minute or two of it. I'll see
Yeah,
where,
just-
you
you
know,
only need a minute. You'll probably only need a minute.
to get just a bit.
The violence, and they have
No,
failed
this
our
is- this
American
isn't the video.
children with
It's the one you
most horrific
posted.
schools in
No,
the
no, no,
country.
no. Hold on. The one above that. The one I sent you. Hold on.
No, this isn't Colonel Allen West, is it?
No. This is hold on.
Yeah, I
Oh,
get
no,
them
I'm talking
confused too.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm talking about the good
His name is
dude, the
Dr.
one that
Cornel
just
West.
won the Republican chairman.
Oh no, Colonel Allen West. Oh, he's a godsend.
Oh yeah, that's what
Um,
I'm talking about.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
the? Okay, do you mean the CNN clip?
Yeah, the CNN one, where he's on Anderson Cooper.
His
Yeah.
name is Dr. Cornel West, professor of the
That
practice
was
of
after
public
the
philosophy at
Floyd
Harvard
stuff.
University and professor emeritus at Princeton University. Dr.
You
West.
mean this guy with the
I'm
with
glad
the
we're talking
the king?
tonight.
What was that guy's name? Something
And
King.
Sean
Something
King.
King. What's his name?
Sean
No,
King.
No,
we're
with
talking
the boxer guy
I have no clue.
with the hair that's stuck up. It was like gray and black. It's stuck up in the air.
what is
Sounds like
happening?
a fucking skunk.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll post it in the chat.
Well, I'm gonna play the clip now.
Well, I just want to begin by extending my condolences to the Floyd family. They exemplify spiritual nobility. It's very important. Long history, 400 years of black people having to come to terms with these kinds of vicious murders and assassinations and attacks. Now, I know I haven't seen you, Anderson, since the little brother Wyatt Morgan made his appearance. And in the midst of all of this
Yeah.
ugly greed and hatred and corruption, it's very important to also celebrate birth and reverence here. But I think what we're really experiencing here, though, brother, and I say this in all honesty and deep sadness, because, you know, I've been trying to bear witness for over 53 years, telling the truth and trying to say something about the least of these. But I think we are witnessing America as a failed
Don King.
social
He
experiment.
fucking looks like Don King.
And what I mean by that is that the history of black people for over 200 and some years in America has been looking at America's failure. Its capitalist economy could
This
not
guy is drinking
generate
Nancy
and deliver
Pelosi's
in such
denture
a way that
water.
people could live lives
Ugh.
of decency.
Yeah.
The
please,
nation
don't-
state, its criminal
don't mention
justice
that.
system, its legal system could not generate protection of rights and liberties. And now our culture, of course, is so market driven, everybody for sale, everything for sale. It can't deliver the kind of really real nourishment for soul, for meaning, for purpose. And so when you get this perfect storm of all of these multiple failures at these different levels of the American empire, and Martin King already told us about that. When I saw those pictures there in Atlanta, You could see Martin right there in Atlanta saying, I told you about militarism. I told you about poverty. I told you about materialism. I told you about racism and all of its forms.
Okay, that's it.
Whatever forms it takes. I told you about xenophobia.
Let's kill this
And what
video.
we've seen in America is now these
So what
chickens
actually
coming home to
happened on there? I
roost.
wasn't able to go and listen to the audio.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can't hear it through the
I'll
Discord,
run
but
through
you
it.
can
I'll
hear
run
it
through it.
on the
I'll run through it. Okay.
on the stream.
So basically, what Cornell West was saying is like, okay, so they're saying, oh, well, we're witnessing America as a failed social experiment. It's like what he meant by that was that the history of Black people for the last 200 plus years in America have been looking at America's failure, saying that the capitalist economy cannot generate and deliver in such a way that provides people lives of decency. Okay, so let's start with that quote, right? So Cornell is right in saying that America is a social experiment. I will say that he is right on that one. However, but this is not, but it's not, he's talking about the capitalist economy. It's not the capitalist economy's role to generate and deliver someone a life of decency. The capitalist economy is simply a platform where if someone makes themselves valuable to somebody else, they can earn a living. They can make something of themselves. It's a platform. It's not like he's looking at this thing like the capitalist economy is supposed to deliver somebody something. No, it's a platform where if you work hard and you avoid mistakes and you make good decisions, and you can build something for yourself. That is the social experiment. Whereas somebody else, like in other countries in world history, a king or a government or a monarch or a dictator is going to basically determine your life for you. This social experiment was aimed at leaving it in your hands, right? Leave it in your hands.
Well, here's what I need to go and ponder too: is what country what is not a failed? So, like, what's his ideal country?
Well, Cornell West is a socialist, Marxist kind of guy, right?
Why does he go to China? I'm sure they love love over there.
So then he goes on and says the nation state, its criminal justice system, its legal system cannot generate protection of rights and liberties, right? So let's fix that one. The criminal justice system we have, it's got flaws like every other criminal justice system, but it's still the best in the world, right? You look at like innocent until proven guilty, right to remain silent, right to an attorney, right to trial by jury, right? Like all this stuff. Like most countries have modeled their justice system off of ours, right? The Constitution is the single greatest piece of legislature ever written, right? It's it's not going to fit, like it's not going to be perfect. No, none of them are perfect. But then of course with what Alex is saying, you're a communist, you're a Marxist, right? Where in any of those fucking countries is it better, right? Okay, and of course this one really kind of fucking grinded my fucking gears. It's like, oh, so now our culture market is so market driven, everybody for sale, everything's for sale. It can't deliver the kind of nourishment for soul, for meaning or purpose. What the fuck are you talking about, right? What in the fuck are you talking about when it comes to nourishment for the soul? Where do you think that comes from? You think that comes from government? What fucking government have you ever known that has provided nourishment for soul or purpose or whatever, right? That's the kind of shit that comes from the home.
That's your family. That's the church. That's everything but the fucking government.
That's where your nourishment comes from. Look at the Uyghur Muslims in fucking China. How much nourishment are they fucking getting right now? Are you kidding me? How what? What about the nourishment with and the only like every and we've talked about this shit till nauseum, right? But like he's a Marxist, right? He's you know what fucking socialist Marxist government has has succeeded, right? And people are like, oh, China succeeded. China succeeded because there's more slaves in China than there are people in the United States. That's what's driving. That's what's driving their fucking economy, right? Slave labor. It's
Yeah.
like
whole-
you have that many slave labor. You have that many slaves. You're probably gonna the top people up top are gonna be doing pretty fucking well in your country.
Well, yeah, the reason China's so successful is because they have a shit ton of people in there, and their government has such a fucking strong hand in everything, and corruption is
Yeah.
so fucking ripe.
Yeah.
They can basically enable this sort of like perpetual slavery to exist and perpetual domination of its own people.
Look at Venezuela. How the fuck are they failing as a country? Like if socialism is so great, if communism is so great, why the fuck is Venezuela failing? They're sitting on oil. They're sleeping on oil and they're starving. How the fuck does that happen?
Exactly. And one of the ladies in my group, she's from there. I
Yeah.
posted her on my Twitter account a lot, but like she's from there, and she's like, "There's no way we do not want to turn America into Venezuela."
And it's not, and I mean it's these these um these communist these socialist communist governments are basically shills for dictatorships, right? Because you look at Cuba, it's Castro family. You look at Venezuela, the Maduro family. You look at China, that's Jinping, right? You they're families that become dictators, basically, because those are the people that essentially run the country. There's no, and I mean, and we could talk about like flaws even in our system. Like we have flaw, like every government has flaws in their system, but it's literally the best you're going to get, right? You're talking about a country that has checks and balances, that limits the power of one individual in any capacity, right? Even the president, right? The president, the leader of the fucking free world, even he is limited in his powers,
It's the
right?
most limited man in government, arguably.
Literally, yeah. It's like even the most powerful dude in the world has limited power. That is how awesome our government is.
And the thing is, like, it's not like we're against improving this system, because I think what a lot of leftists will always respond back to what we say is that, because we'll say, oh, it's the best system, it's not perfect, but get over it. They'll say, well, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't improve it. No, we agree, it should be improved, and we're working on that, but you guys want to take it the wrong direction.
One of these
They
guys,
want
no,
to dismantle it.
yeah, no, yeah, exactly. They want to dismantle, like it's like, oh, we want to improve it, and it's like, okay, how? By tearing it down. Like what? That makes
Yeah.
no fucking sense. Like no,
Look at
wanna,
these people. These are children. These are kids. They're all kids. What the hell do they know about buying homes, paying taxes, working,
there is a
doing
parallel.
something good?
It's good. It's good that you asked that question, Miss Firecracker, and there's parallels here, right? There's parallels. You see all these kids, and it brings parallels to Mao Zedong's China, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who this Marxist revolution of China, what did they do?
The children's revolution.
Yeah, they brought children in. They brought them to shame their parents. They brought them to, they gave them little black books of,
Those little red books.
the little red books with the
And also
Mao
Hitler.
quotes and all that.
Hitler used
Yeah.
too. When my son was young, he's 21 now. When he was a little boy, he said they told him in school that if the mom screams at him or does certain things, they need to call the police on their mother. They started teaching that about 15, 20 years ago.
Yep. Can't spank your children? No, and that's bullshit. Beat the hell out of your children if they're acting up.
I'm happy you guys brought up Hitler too, because it was a professional NFL player who recently posted on their Instagram story a
It
quote
was,
from Hitler.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I think that was
Deshaun
Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson,
Yeah,
right?
our
Yeah, that's
fucking
what it was.
Eagles.
And it
Yep.
wasn't even an accurate quote by Hitler either. Like he
Oh
didn't even
God.
fucking he didn't even do his fucking homework, right?
First of all, why is he quoting Hitler?
Be,
Was he like
because
complaining about like Jews or something?
yeah,
He was.
he had yeah it was just like it was ridiculous. It felt like rambling, but it was obviously fucked up. But
Drunk or high?
it just sounded like it didn't make no fucking sense.
But
Which
then
of
And
course it
who
didn't.
was the
where
other
did he
guy?
get this information from? Where did he get that from? Who gave that to him?
Mm.
It's coming from Black Lives Matters and Antifa.
Yeah.
That's exactly who their
Oh,
teachers
no,
are.
I don't think it's necessarily from them. I think it goes deeper than that. You start going back to like the Nation of Islam and shit. I
Oh,
think
you're
that's where
right,
it's
you're
all
right.
started.
Muslim Brotherhood, yeah, too.
Like Louis Farrakhan, like there's a deep history of that sort of anti-Semitic element. I'm honestly kind of confused as at why there is such a there's these like pockets that are okay with this within the black community. Because I was
Do you know why? Because they went in the penitentiaries. They infiltrated the penitentiaries with Islam. They took the guys while they were down and they gave them this message, like you can belong to a family. Because they didn't have families. They had broken families. They wanted to belong to anything. It was like a cult. So that's where the Nation of Islam always became the bodyguards for Michael Jackson and for a lot of the music people. They were the strong arm. It's like a mafia.
Well, it's funny we all mention this because I was in Philly today with my girlfriend in the afternoon, and when we were driving, I saw something I hadn't really seen in person before. I saw well, I gotta describe this carefully. Well, I knew what it was when I looked at it, but it was, I saw this black guy walk, and then he had a bunch of like stars of David all over him, and I realized real quick, like obviously black people can be Jewish, yes, 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 but I realized really quickly what he was specifically. It was a black Israelite.
oh, those ones are
They're
fun.
the Jew haters. They hate
They're
Jews.
wild. And I saw a van next to him with like some, I forget what it was called, the group he was with. I was going to take a picture, but the light turned green, so I had to keep going in Philly traffic. But it was a black Israel. I'm like, whoa, woke. There's one of them woke people. And the other thing I was going to mention too real quick is that I think the Jew hatred comes from because they can make, these leftists can create the images of the Jews as an oppressor. They can go and say, look, the Jews are white, they are in all these powerful positions, and they're holding you minorities back. And I think that's how they can really get, is they can make them another oppressor.
You know, this is the thing also, I got to tell you, this is very interesting conversation because, okay, so I'm Jewish, so we're the original slaves. We were
Yeah.
the original slaves that came out of Egypt. So
But
don't be talking reparations because I want my reparations. But now we've got the the Jews have always been the scapegoat.
yeah,
Everybody loves to hate the Jews because
Miss Firecracker, that can't be right because I heard a couple weeks ago, I heard Tim Kaine say that Americans invented slavery.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Which is
they
literally
did.
factually inaccurate. Like,
Of course it is.
it's one of the most, like, ridiculous, like, there's a lot of ridiculous things people say, but
apparently
that's
all of
something.
Europe and Asia and Africa never experienced slavery until
The
like,
fucking pyramids were built by
Yeah.
slaves. That's way before America.
You know,
I've
something
heard
very
some
interesting.
stories about that. I'm not sure about
the
that.
aliens, man.
Not
The aliens.
necessarily that, but like I think I saw something that they were actually like indentured servants. Or
Okay,
whatever.
tomato.
Oh yeah.
It was something like they were actually.
So basically, fucking slaves.
There's a phenomena where Jewish people get Egyptian eyes tattooed on them, and I have one, and I did it when I was young. I didn't really know what it was at all,
Eye of
and then through
horse?
the years, yeah,
You
and
notice
you
our
know
logo's
what?
that
It's
too.
the
See, that's what drew to the
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah, it's the slavery, and that has always been my signpost in life in Paris and different places. I married a guy because he showed me the Eye of Horse, but it's in my DNA. Slavery is in my genetic makeup from my DNA, my ancestry.
Oh, you should demand
And
some
that's what the
reparations from
brain
your
did.
local Democrat congresswoman. Man.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is what the Republicans should. You know what they should do? There should be a troll campaign. Because they made a video on this, kind of like reparations for like Kekistanis or reparations for Trump supporters or something like that. Do a troll operation because we are an oppressed group of people. We are straight.
No, you said you're Jewish. Demand reparations from the Arabs.
Yes.
Yeah, from Rashida Tlaib and from Ilhan Omar. They enslaved my people.
Yes.
Sure. Yes, I'd love
Let
to.
my people go, bitches.
Yeah,
That's
she-
some
she
Loomer,
doesn't-
Loomer should do, like demand reparations
Ilhan
from
Omar-
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah. Well, Ilhan Omar doesn't have the money to pay you because she's paying off her fucking husband.
Her husband and brother, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but honestly, see, again, this is how the right needs to attack. Be trolly, be playful, and hold them to their standards. They say, oppressed people get reparations. Okay. We'll give you some oppressed classes that you should start paying up to. How about people that are killed by Black Lives Matter rioters? They're pretty oppressed, aren't they? Victims of Antifa, pretty oppressed, aren't they? We need more organization. Like, we're the fucking organizers.
I wish that we had I wish we had a system where we could just because we have so many people in our immigration system. We have so many people that want to come to this country legally and go through the whole legal process and all that shit. I just wish there was some way that we could get all these fucking America haters out and just swap them with the fucking people that actually want to come here and actually want to be a part of this fucking country.
Yeah, they could
Cut and paste.
Yeah, just swap. Just a fair fucking trade. All right, here. Get rid of this shit. We don't want it.
Well, speaking of these sort of haters and kind of like, because this kind of reminds me of young people in general because they seem to hate America. But on the flip side of it, because we're talking about ignorant people and you see these people in the streets like right now. I was just looking at my Facebook and I shared with Phil and Alex this person's comments toward me. He's a very idealistic type and sort of a libertarian type, and a friend of one of my people I know. He just replied to one of my articles. It was a post on Facebook where I talked about how basically Trump supporters were terrified. And there was a recent Cato poll that found 62% of Americans say they have a political views they're afraid to share. And this was his explanation. First, he started off with the definition of a silent majority. And I just roll my eyes like, okay, you're trying to get all technical with me. But then he says, also, 62% of Americans are afraid to voice their opinions because of the polarizing two-party duopoly, man, of R's and D's. You can't tell me Republicans are not part of this issue. Republicans are in a fantasy land 2020. Okay, this is the dumbest take I've heard all day. Americans are afraid to speak up because of the two-party duopoly.
No, that's fucking false.
It's the
Because
dumbest thing.
You would either align with one or the fucking other. That no one gives
Do you
a
know
shit.
why these assholes can be in this street? These assholes can be in this street because of the rule of law and because of our system in the United States of America. Because of our Constitution,
And
they're
free
allowed
speech.
to take to the streets.
Yeah.
See, I'd love to go and have a fucking debate with this guy. I know who you're talking about. I'd love for him to come on one day.
Well, the person I challenged to a debate is a different person, but this is his buddy. I'm gonna start challenging this guy too, because I gotta cash this out. I'm like, are you kidding me? People are like, oh, I can't come out as a Democrat because of the two-party system, guys. Oh my god, no,
Right.
are you fucking kidding me?
I got some news. Okay.
What's going on?
The Fleetwood Mac founder Peter Green.
I
has
saw
died.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty.
So pretty sad. Yeah.
It happens in
Fleetwood Mac-
threes.
Really like Fleetwood Mac. They're one of my favorites.
He passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually playing some Fleetwood Mac today in the car.
So. Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's what's sad. Is, like, we're getting to a point, like, in a few years, a lot of these sort of, like, classic rock artists or anybody related to them are just all going to be gone. I
No,
mean,
man, this happens when you get older, man. All your heroes, they fucking die. All your older relatives, they die, and then you're the new older relative, and then
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but
Like that.
this is a strange time when everything is it's being impacted by the loneliness and the desperation and the depression and the fear. There's a lot more people dying because of we're in an environment of this is not a thriving environment for life. This is a death knell.
Yeah.
Man.
I no, like, yeah, like it is a very depressing time because like you can't see your fucking relatives. You can't go and see, I mean, you might be able to, but if they're older, you have to be real careful. Now you can't really see your friends that easily. Like you can't see your coworkers. Like I haven't seen my coworkers in like several months. Like it feels like shit. I miss that human to human interaction, but like, I can't do that right now. Like, what the hell? Like they say that like the COVID's like so bad, and I have my theories on that. But like think about all the other stuff too. Like people aren't going to the gym, people aren't seeing, like there's depression rates, I'm sure, going through the roof, not just because of people losing their jobs and their houses, but because they're not able to go and talk to humans.
Let's go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole for a second.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're good at
What-
that.
What if China released?
that
What
conspiracy
if what if China released the virus on purpose to help the
I
Democrats
think
out
we,
with the
yeah, we've
election?
dived into that. I think
What if
I
that?
don't.
Okay, well, we'll go deeper. What if the Democratic governors are intentionally sandbagging the old people by putting the COVID patients in the nursing homes, like intentionally
Oh,
to
absolutely.
kill off some of the older people because the older
Absolutely.
people absolutely like the voters the voter base is Trump's vote. A large chunk of the Trump's voter base is particularly older.
You know what? Another rabbit hole is that this works out so well for the Republicans and for there's a lot of stuff going on that Trump is doing and the military is doing behind the scenes. And it's almost like they're able to do it because this is such a big distraction. I don't know. My little weird hunch, and I'm a weirdo, you guys know that, but I think that now Epstein plays into this, into my little scenario, that the virus was developed at Harvard, and Charles Lieber and the four Chinese brought it over to Wuhan. They're in prison, and they brought it over to Wuhan. Wuhan did its thing with it because that was connected to Gates and Fauci, and then Epstein exits left, left, and but all his money was used for the development of this virus. It just weird.
I think what's really happening, because this is what stuff that we know, is when the virus was breaking out in China, what did China do? They shut down travel within China, but they did not shut down travel leaving China. I still think the virus came from that lab in Wuhan. I think it honestly was just a fuck up. They screwed up, it leaked out, but China said, okay, we're going to protect our people because this is going to hit us bad. We're going to cover this up, but we're going to make the rest of the world get on a level playing field. That's what I think happened. Because
I think this may have been intentional.
no, because it hurts China.
Well, no, but it stops. They have Hong Kong.
No, because look at like World War II, right? The fucking Japanese bombed Manchuria and then blamed it on the fucking Chinese, so that's why they went in there. That's one of the reasons why they went over there.
Yeah, but the coronavirus is killing their own people, and it's also they're losing business, their money.
recovering though. They're gonna go and take over the like in terms of GDP, the United States.
But who's gonna want to trade
Are-
with them after
I
this?
think.
It won't
What
matter.
Do you
factory is
think?
gonna want to be in China after this?
Well, they don't.
It's gonna matter to them. You know, they'll
Yeah,
still
they
have
don't give a shit.
Yeah,
China
they
doesn't
do.
give-
They're not
China doesn't
stupid.
give a fuck.
No, no, no,
No,
no, no.
that's no, but that would be smart. That
How
would
is that
actually be
smart?
smart.
They're hurting their
Because-
money.
No,
They
they're
have
counting on Biden getting in. This is quid pro
Yeah.
quo. They're counting on Biden
They're
getting
playing
in.
they're playing the big game. They
They're
would be
playing
playing
the
the big
Hillary
game.
Yeah,
Clinton
but they're
Foundation
yeah,
game.
but part of their big
I-
game is, for example, Huawei. They wanted to use Huawei to get 5G everywhere, just basically spy on people and maybe do worse things, and to cut into our business, our cellular business. It's now banned in UK, France, and US.
They weren't expecting.
They know
That.
after this virus came out, they know it's gonna hit them hard, so they put everyone on a level playing field. I really doubt they release this intentionally. Now, they could have been designing a bioweapon or playing with a virus to maybe someday intentionally release, but I don't think what happened in Wuhan was intentional, because it's
I do.
killing China. Like, this, their
Yeah, but-
country is like so screwed over this. When they were before silently kind of eating away at the West, this I think they just literally just let it out at with the travel continuing outside the world to bring everybody on a level playing field. Because if they really were smart and they really wanted to hurt the rest of the world would be getting hit by the virus and they'd be fine. But they're not fine. Their death toll is insane.
Well, yeah, but if they made it look like they're doing too fine, then they would know something's up.
True, but that's why they fudge the numbers. Kind of look like, oh, we have this under control, but no, they don't. They're covering it up. They're hit
Listen,
terribly. If they
I-
really were, intentionally doing this, they would have a high death toll, but in actuality,
you
it
don't
wouldn't
know.
be high.
But you don't know. But you don't know what the fuck their death
We
toll
know
is
it's
'cause they're
high.
not on it.
Yeah, but we know
Yeah.
it's high. Like, let's be real.
Wait. But wait, who ran that Wuhan lab? This is a globalist-driven thing. These are the globalists, and they're just using China
There's
as their
absolutely
pawn.
globalist shit in play. Absolutely globalist.
Yeah,
shit in
China
play.
is just the collateral damage. They just use China, and they're using us because they want to take them all over. What happened was China bought. Do you know why all these stores are emptying out in all these cities? Do you know why New York is decimated? Because the Chinese have paid Biden to move into our real estate, to move into America. It's going to be an invasion. This all works out great for them. They don't care that they lose some people.
I mean, they
Yeah,
can
I
definitely
would-
take a hit with some people, but at the same time, they do need. Look, they have a lot of factories. They need workers. They need a lot of shit. I mean, China's a very sort of brute force, like America in the 30s and during the I guess terms industrial revolution. That's what they're going through right now. That's why they have basically slave labor, child labor, is because they need all hands on deck to build their economy and country. And so yeah, they can lose some people, but
I wouldn't put it past CCP China to do this shit on purpose, knowing that if I sandbag America and I sandbag Donald Trump in this election, and I can get Joe Biden, who I already know, not only do I have leverage on, but I know is going to give in to me at will. I do it. I'd do it. Like the CCP would do it.
oh yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is like they, in many ways, not only do they want the rest of the world to suffer with them, but they don't want people fighting back against them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Donald Trump. You gotta just these last couple of you're saying that China's hurting economic. China has been hurting since Trump took office.
Oh yeah.
He's been giving them roundhouse kick to the faces every day since he's been in office, and that, and he's already had that phase one. He had that phase one deal that was done that was going to be fucking very beneficial to China, not to China, but to the United States. And I think, and it's possible that they may have signed that phase one deal and probably regretted it once they realized what was on the trade deal. And
He just
then,
mentioned that yesterday. That's exactly what Trump said.
yeah, so he may have regretted the deal. So it's like, oh well, let's get Biden in there, so then we can kind of work him over like a part-time job. And yeah, I wouldn't put it I wouldn't put it past him. And but
Yo, is anybody seeing Kanye's Twitter? I know Donnie is.
Tonight,
What's he doing?
he's divorcing that hoe.
what?
Well, he said, actually, this was from yesterday, technically. He said, I will be Biden off of write-ins, hashtag 2020 vision.
Yeah.
Then he says, I can beat Biden off. Oh, he said it again.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
going
he
off. I would like to apologize to my wife, Kim, for going public with something that was a
Yeah.
private matter. Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. I did not
Wait.
cover her like she was covered me. What? This guy can't type. Kim,
What
I
do you do?
want to say I know I hurt you. Please forgive me. Thank you for always being there for me. Why do you say this on Twitter? That's something you say privately.
What do you do to his wife? Are they divorcing now?
I don't think so yet, but I think we talked about it last time. I'm not sure, but like he did that little campaign rally thing where he had, frankly, it's a powerful and moving story about his son, North, where they want, I think it was him?
North is his daughter.
Yeah, the daughter. Hey, when you name a kid North, it's hard to guess the gender.
Right,
Northwest.
right.
Northwest.
One of them wanted to abort or was thinking about aborting North, and the other, and I think it was Kim, said no.
No, it's the opposite. Kim wanted to abort the baby. He didn't because his dad wanted to abort him.
Yes, that's it. That makes
Holy
sense.
shit, that's fucked.
But this is the deal. This is the backstory. So she wants to what they did to Britney Spears. They want to take conservatorship over Kanye because he's mentally ill. And so she's been going on for days about, oh, he's very, very sick and he's mentally ill and we need to take care of him and protect him because he's not in his right mind. That's why he wants to run away and divorce her, because they want to put him in a prison.
Holy shit.
Well, they want to
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to put him in a prison. They want to hospitalize him, which
Yeah,
is just
hospital.
as bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a prison.
just
That's a
bad.
prison.
Yeah.
Britney's in a prison. Britney's in a prison through her family. Same thing.
Yeah,
And they feed them with medication all day long.
Yeah.
well, let's be real. She's a little bit of a fucked up person.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's like if Kanye did divorce Kim, like who do you think would win that fucking money battle? It'd
Oh, it's
probably
Kim.
be Kanye. Kanye would. The Kim would have to fucking pay up. Look, you know how much money Kim Kardashian is pulling?
But why?
No, I guarantee you, it's nothing like Kanye.
Yeah, but
he
look
does-
at the framing of it. Here's the thing. This is with all these custody things too.
Mhm.
Male privilege goes out the door if it even exists. There is no fucking male privilege, and Kanye
but-
is the erratic, mentally ill father that's tweeting shit, crazy shit, that's saying crazy shit in public on video,
But
whereas Kim
the
is
fact?
the victim and the mother. She
It's like
wins
Angelina
clearly.
What
Jolie and
state
Brad
are-
Pitt.
look, but-
Angelina Jolie.
What state are they in?
California.
Wyoming.
Oh.
Nice try, dude.
Well, it depends actually. I know Kanye's in Wyoming.
Well, he's in Wyoming now, but like, no, I'm saying they're in Wyoming or not. They're in California, where they've had a lot of fucked up child or like divorce alimony cases. There was one where this guy beat and raped his wife repeatedly during the marriage, and then she divorced him, and because she was a lawyer and he was like unemployed or whatever, she ended up having to pay him alimony while he was in prison.
Holy
Right? That's how look. That is the state you're dealing with here.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the thing is, this is for a high profile celebrity thing. I mean, they're both gonna have access to the best lawyers, but
Yeah.
I don't see Kanye getting the good
And
deal here
because
at
he's
all.
no, he because he has a because he has a because if she plays the mental illness, he could play that in like his defense. Oh, he could play the sympathy card, like, oh, she's trying to take advantage of me because I have a mental illness, and of course everybody knows that he's not like all
I
the
don't
way
think that
there.
would fly. I see
It's
her as the
California.
more the victim.
It's California.
It
Okay.
would go exactly the way Britney Spears thingy went. The only thing is Kanye West has a lot of money. He's not like Kevin Federer,
No,
like her.
it's not. Look, I mean that
Kim has a lot
like
of money though.
that Kardashian family. Holy shit. You're
Yeah.
talking about crazy fucking money.
So let me tell you something else. This is the thing, and this is what's so sad. This is really tragic about all these people. Kanye West, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Katy Perry, all of them, Lady Gaga, they are handled. They have MK Ultra mind control handlers. Look at Post Malone. Look at Austin Post. He just got tattoos all over his head, all over his face, all over his neck. The guy is so enslaved in an MK Ultra prison because they're just sucking them dry from their money. That's what happened to Kanye West. There's nothing wrong with Kanye West. There's nothing wrong with Britney Spears. They have been destroyed by Sony. They've been destroyed by the music industry, by Hollywood, by the Satanists, by the money, the Illuminati actually.
Conspiracy man.
No, but it's really the system. If you go to any one of these people's concerts, you see that the entire concert is satanic. You know the symbolism. You see. Okay, so I know Post Malone. I know Austin Post, and when we went to I saw him in Grapevine, and when we went to the bar, Will Hoyt's. We went to Will Hoyt's. There were about 10. He's controversial because he's white, and in the very beginning, when he got signed, he was made to look black. He looked black on his albums. He's a country western dude, okay? So when we went to Will Hoyt's, there were about 10 big, beefy black guys, and they were cock blocking him. They wouldn't let anyone get near him. One of the guys had the guns, one of them had the drugs, one of them had the money. And it's like they were the probably Nation of Islam, what we just were talking about. They won't let anybody get close to them because I spoke to his mom, I spoke to his brother. The guy's gonna die. I was gonna hook him up with Ozzy Osbourne to get sober. And it's like total cock block because they want him loaded, they want him sick, they want him bipolar and
Did you
on a lot of
did
medication.
did you just say you're gonna hook him up with Ozzy Osbourne to get him sober?
I don't know if
Yes,
that's a great idea.
yes, Ozzy Osbourne.
Fucking why? No,
Right.
no.
So the funny thing is, he just did it. He just did a song with Ozzy Osbourne about 6 months ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I get it. No, I was just it sounded funny coming out. That's all I'm saying. No, you're right. I'm just saying it's just funny coming out. Like this dude has probably done more drugs than
Well, he
than
gets paid
offered
about
in the
10
country
million.
of Colombia. Like fucking
Yeah, it's so sad. And then his dad, the dumb schmuck, he's like, "Oh, my son never did hard drugs." I'm like, dude, look at your fucking son, dude. He's fucking coked out of his mind. Like
like,
even the parents aren't allowed to, don't even want to go near the kids because the parents are getting the payoff.
like I heard Keith Richards stop doing drugs because they do nothing for him anymore. Like he just stopped doing drugs because he just don't like he's done so many drugs over the course of his life. They just fucking do nothing for him anymore. Like it's like so I'm not getting so he's not really getting high and there's a chance it could kill him anyway. I'm just gonna stop doing the drugs. It's like damn. I would like he just basically he sniffed his way to the other side. Like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing too, if like, and we're gonna wrap this stream up in a minute or so, but like, I remember I saw some Mark Wahlberg told Post Malone, like, dude, don't get face tattoos. You're gonna regret it. You're gonna look like an idiot. Didn't listen. And it's like, Post Malone's, I don't know of him. I think his music's trash.
Fuck you,
but
Dad. I'm doing my own thing, man.
he seems like the sort of guy that's kind of like that. It's just sort of like, I think he's kind of like I don't know. He's just, I do understand. I do kind of sympathize with Firecrackers saying like how these systems and these industries can really like break people. I know Michael Jackson talked about that, and a few others have. And well, I think that probably has some truth about Kanye. I think one thing I will say about Kanye that we can all probably agree is that he is authentic. If he's crazy, if he's not, if he's bipolar, he's not, whatever the fuck he is or isn't, he is authentic at the end of the day. And that's where I have tremendous respect and appreciation for him. But I bet he is bipolar, though. And there's something that's been different about the stuff he's been doing recently. And I like the stuff he did before when he was in the White House. All these other things, that sort of stuff was, I think, different. I was like, cool with it. The stuff he's been doing recently is just, there's something off about it. And that's where I'm not, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I don't get any of this shit. But there is a good chance I think he's going through some sort of episode because he's just, I don't know. There's something just a bit off right now. I could be wrong, but that's just all I've been feeling.
I kind of think the thing with Kanye West, at first I wasn't for sure what his motive was, but pretty much with those tweets you read off today, it kind of like, okay, that sounds about right now. Yep, Kanye was actually just trying to get votes taken away from Biden. And I think him being erratic about it and everything may help. People still think, oh, it's better than voting for Biden, but still it helps Trump.
It's possible, but he's not in enough
like
of the states, though, and that's the thing.
But they just write it in. If they write in their vote.
That's true.
So those votes are gonna come from Biden's camp.
I would think so, because he would get the black vote, presumably.
It's like Alabama when when Doug Jones won, they had there was a whole lot of people that fucking wrote in Nick Saban. The University of Alabama football coach.
Oh my god.
He did. I think he had like 22,000 write-in votes or something like that, like for the state of Alabama.
Well, speaking of that, I don't know if we talked about, but Jeff Sessions lost big time.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of.
I figured he would lose, but
I'm just saying, like, I mean, look, the Trump effect it has its hold on people, man. I'm telling you, like, they fucking love them. The Alabama loves them some Donald fucking Trump, man.
And you betray Trump, you're dead.
Yeah, you're dead. You are dead. Well, I mean that, and Tommy Tuberville is pretty liked in Alabama too. He was a former Auburn coach and all that. So
yeah.
Hey, and did Trump even ever acknowledge Kanye running?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was somebody asked him about it. I think he said something like, "I think it's great" or something. I forget exactly what he said.
Yeah.
So it was a plan. He knew it was a plan.
Well, no, I mean, he's like, I mean, what's he? He's not gonna not.
It'd be good for him. He'll split the black vote, if anything.
Yeah.
And that's the key to this election is the black vote. Because Biden's trying to run on that, I was with the first black president, aren't I? So good. And you see all the Black Lives Matter riots. Again, it's just all engineered and planned. It's not just organic. If the black vote comes out, Biden probably wins. If they stay home for the most part and some go to Trump wins easily.
Yeah.
And there were some polls recently. I forget if I shared on Twitter somewhere. Again, polls take it with a grain of salt, but it was showing that black enthusiasm was low for Biden. I hope that's the case. I really hope so.
Okay, so Charlamagne the God brought that up. He was saying like 30% or something were enthusiastic about Biden, with 70% for Trump on Trump's side. He said people aren't excited about Biden, so he mentioned that.
Yeah. Well, he
No,
got
like I think Phil brought that up before. Like he's not your 100% support candidate. He's like a 40, like a 60%. Like he
dude.
just
He got. I think he got like 9%. Like I think Trump got like 9% of the black vote in 2016. If he gets even 15, I think if Trump even gets over 15%, it's over. I think it is. I think it is. I think it's over.
You need to be worrying more about the Hispanic vote than anything else. Just
Well, I
looking.
mean,
Not this election. Not this election. Future ones, yes, but not this one. Because look at Pennsylvania. What is Philadelphia? It's mostly black. What is it? Democrat. Why did Hillary lose Pennsylvania? Partially because one of the biggest factors was, and you could see it in her Philadelphia speech, low black turnout. They stayed home. Enough of the red areas were able to overcome the cities, and specifically Philly, and that's why Pennsylvania had a slim victory for Trump. And that's the key. It's state by state. Because if Trump, or let's say in 2020, or Biden, I should say more specifically, gets a lot of black vote, covers up that difference real quick. So it's an uphill battle for the Trump campaign in Pennsylvania. Florida, I think Trump's going to keep pretty easily. Ohio, he's going to keep it. But Michigan, another one. What does Detroit have? High black population. Again, these are key states. And some people think that Michigan's already lost. I don't buy that for a second. I think it's still very close. And again, it comes down to the black vote.
Yeah, and did you guys see the WNBA people walking off during the national anthem?
Yeah, we were talking about that we were talking about that not too long ago. We were like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know, nobody watches the fucking WNBA anyway. So.
I know they can't.
Literally,
they can't
that 22-second clip that I saw on Twitter was about the only 22 seconds that I've ever seen of the WNBA since it's even been. Like, I've never watched any WNBA ever. Fucking ever.
Yeah.
I've messed around with girls that ended up playing in the WNBA. Okay. I still
no
didn't.
name dropping.
I've still never watched an NBA game ever, and I have no intention of watching it because it's fucking garbage. I'm sorry.
Well, last thing I'm gonna say, because I think we should end the stream because it's getting real late, is one thing I just realized when I was talking about the black vote to consider too is how is it gonna shake up when Biden picks a black female for his VP, which will probably be Kamala. How does that shake up the black vote enthusiasm? Because if it's Kamala, I think it actually hurts it. It might spike it in some ways, but I think it hurts it.
They don't see her as black.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Here's the thing. The media will make it a big deal, and make a big hoorah about it, but in reality, it's not going to help.
It's easy. Like, it's easy. Like, Kamala's easy pickings because, like, you know, she was a prosecutor in San Francisco, and she was hard. She prosecuted. She's accused of over prosecuting a lot of African Americans during her time.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna hurt him, and I think they might make that mistake. If he picks somebody else, I think I'd be scared. But if he picks Kamala, I'd be like, ooh.
Well, we also hear, the Michael thing, Michelle Obama, and then when Biden bows out,
you got it right, Michael Obama. That's right. It's exactly right.
And then
She's a
yeah,
dude.
Joan.
Kind of looks like a dude. Yeah, just run with it.
And yes,
No, dude looks like a lady.
somebody
That's right.
somebody said he can't even try to pretend to look like a chick. He can't even try to to be smaller, compact himself. But anyway, so they say, so when Biden bows out, she's going to pick Hillary. So it's going to be Michelle and Hillary.
Yeah, that ain't happening. That'd be crazy if that happened, but like, Hillary's done. She probably wants to like climb back into things, but like, the DNC is smart enough to be like, yeah, no, nobody likes you.
She's gotten her orders that she to stand down, that if she doesn't stand down, they're going to take her out themselves.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But oh my god, that's all we have for today. You guys want to plug any of your Twitters or YouTubes or anything?
I posted the picture of Post Malone in the chat. Take a look at how really frightening that is.
I see that.
Donnie,
Yeah.
I texted that to you.
Yeah, I saw it.
Is that like recent, the stuff he did to his head there?
The 19th, less
Yeah.
than a week ago.
God, looks terrible. Any other final comments or plugs or anything?
You guys are amazing.
The Donnie the Don on Twitter and YouTube. That's me.
Sweet. And Phil, are you Pluffy Phil on Twitter still?
Yep. Fluffy Phil. Fluffy Phil.
When's Dictator Phil coming back? I mean, we have these ICE like fucking unmasked vans coming. Like, this is some Dictator territory, right?
Yeah, but like, Fluffy Phil's actually been doing pretty well. Just look at Donnie's last video, right?
Yeah, they do
Pretty
good.
well. Pretty well.
But if you did Dictator
Pretty
Phil,
well.
might do
What
better.
are the numbers for that? Let me see. Hold on.
Crack open that YouTube studio.
901 views.
See?
Now 764 subscribers on the channel.
Yeah.
Wow. Solid.
And it was like 752 earlier, right?
Just wait until just wait until tomorrow's show kicks off.
Right?
Uh-huh. Oh, this is gonna be good. We're talking about blackface, man. I'm telling you, that's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
Man, well, you know, so the thing about blackface is like, what shocks me is like,
It's
how these people that have been caught doing it recently, you know, like Trudeau, Kimmel, they did it like fucking like within the 21st century.
yeah.
I'm like,
They're all liberals. It's all liberals
Yeah.
that are guilty of this shit too.
And they don't apologize.
Republicans understand. They understand. They get it. Like, don't fucking do that shit, okay? Like liberals, they don't give a fuck. They're like, and they're doing it in the same fashion that like, so anybody who's ever taken a history course at all, right? You know that blackface minstrelsy was the very first form of popular music in our country. That's how deep-seated. Yeah,
Jeez.
that's how deep-seated our country is, like as far as racism goes or whatever. Like blackface minstrelsy was the first ever popular music in our country, right? And it began, and a lot of it was, you got the white people painting their faces black and then acting stupid to poke fun at African Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
It like and like, what do you see? You see Jimmy Fallon doing it with Chris Rock, poking fun at Chris Rock. You seen Jimmy Kimmel doing it, poking fun at Karl Malone. You see, it's done. Not only did they do blackface, but they did it in the same fucking fashion in terms of trying to poke fun at African Americans while dressed in blackface. Like, so
And that's
It's
why
like,
these people act like super hardcore, like anti-racist, pro-BLM, all these things, because they're covering
yeah,
up their guilt. They're
deflection.
coping.
It's deflection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't. It's just there's like a lot of like edgy jokes and stuff you can kind of get away with or push
Well,
boundaries on. But blackface is one of those things. I would just I don't see how it can be funny. You know what I mean, or how it can be
like
used
yeah,
in
Sarah
any way.
Silverman did it. Like how are you gonna be such a fucking Trump basher and you did blackface? You should shut the fuck up forever.
Yeah.
Right? You just shut up forever. Right? Like you just like that one move you just like is doing blackface is more fucked up than any tweet that could ever be. That might even be doing blackface might be even more fucked up than the N word. Like
I actually would
because
argue it is because
yeah,
it has a visual. It's not
there's
always a visual, but the intention and the creation of it was
yeah,
clearly racist.
the symbolism of that is just it's out there. It's out there. You can't get more symbolic of racial hatred in America than blackface minstrelsy. That is like the worst.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to hear a funny story? I'll share it tomorrow on my social media.
Okay.
When I was in like elementary, I was about to leave my school, and I think it was close to my birthday too. My teacher bought me a book and had everyone in the classroom sign it. It was some black hymns book, like Follow the Drinking Gourds in there, and I was the only black kid in the class. It was only like two different families of black kids in this whole entire school in Indiana, in the South, in Bedford, Indiana. And that's what
Yeah.
the teacher gave me as a
That's
gift, and all
what,
the kids
that's,
signed
prob-
it.
that's probably one of those real awkward ones where they're like, I'm a firm believer in African American rights. You know that, right? Like,
Right.
no, you
I
I
have a
racist
black
piece of shit.
friend.
I still have the book. It's on my desk. I recorded the book. I'm gonna post it tomorrow. But like when I first got that, I thought it was racist. And I went to my parents, and they're like, "Yeah, it seems kind of racist, but maybe she had good intentions."
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I was
like,
gonna say.
everybody knows I like Harry Potter. Why didn't y'all buy me a Harry Potter book? What the heck is this?
Well, actually, a quick question before we close, like, because I forget who I was talking. Maybe it was I think it was a friend at work. Like, yeah, it was. There's like this weird perception I think like a lot of leftists have where they're like they think like like the South is still racist, basically, like ultra racist and like hates black people. Like, what is your experience in the South like?
I've never been called the N-word in the South, and I've been here for 12 years. And I've been to Florida too, and they actually like treat me like a queen every time I go there. But like I've experienced way more racism in Indiana than I did down here, which both are red states, but Indiana is Midwest.
That's surprising. 'Cause usually the Midwest is really nice.
Well, that's because you're a white boy.
Get out of here, goddamn it!
I think that you'd have to be like Alabama or Mississippi to get a proper Southern experience.
I don't know, man.
And then think about this too. Like there isn't like a bilingual requirement in Indiana when I was there. There isn't any of that because it's pretty much black and white. There's very, very, different other races there, but like a small amount, very small. But when I came to Texas, it was a huge cultural shock for me because I didn't even meet people of different races until I came to Texas. And then we all live in different areas here in my apartment complexes, all different races. Like when I'm saying my apartment complex, it's not a black community. It's a multi-race. There's white people. There's people from India. There's people from Europe. There's people from all over the place here, and we all speak English.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's kind of like where I'm from. Is like, it's mostly white, but there's black people, Hispanic, Indian. Like, there's a little bit of everything, and we get along. We're fine. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think like you mentioned, like speaking English. That's a core thing, is because and I hope Trump eventually gets this passed where English is the national language. Because if everybody's speaking the same language, we can talk to each other. We can share ideas. We can be friends. when we're not speaking the same language, we keep to ourselves in our own little communities, and we basically self-segregate. That's not what we're supposed to be doing here. That's not assimilation.
Right, and I have friends who are Mexican here, and their parents aren't from here, but they're second generation, and they say too that they get frustrated because they have communities where they are, it's okay to only speak Spanish because that's the little community they have. So therefore, it doesn't force them to learn English. And their kids get annoyed because they learned it. They're like, why aren't y'all learning it? Now we have to translate, do all this extra stuff for you guys to communicate. And like, this is when I was going to college back in like 2010. And it's like, that's a huge issue because there's the different communities. So yes, it's segregated. And then they have not even just the Mexican population or the Hispanic population, it's the other communities too. They all tend to do that and they speak the same languages.
Yeah.
Instead of us coming together all together. We do have it mixed up over here too, but there are concentrated areas where it's by their race or where they're from.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh man, that was a pretty wild show. I think we covered like literally every topic. We were all over the place, but in a good way. But if anybody else has anything else to say before we close out?
I want to thank you guys. It was really an intense, great show.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
And make sure you vote for Trump 2020 and vote red to save America.
Down ballot.
Think about it.
Absolutely. Well, we'll catch you guys next week with no real news here. Who knows what's America's gonna look like then or what crazy shit happens next. But we'll definitely be talking about it.
Later, Gators.
Take it
Bye.
easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Be safe.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be. I can't believe how many things that it feels like every time we come on for a new show, there's a new danger. There's pandemic. There's riots. There's this. There's that. Be safe, everyone, because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen next. And as always, make sure you wash your hands to cleanse yourself from all these germs and the COVID-19 that's sprinkling about. I am stalling for time still because I'm trying to pull up the live stream to end it. I always forget to do that because I'm like, okay, show's ending, and I'm bringing it up, and then I always forget to bring up the link. But we are now ending it. Wash your hands, people, and thanks for tuning in.
Night, night.
Night.
There we go.